Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whatever the case may be, wherever you are in your little world. Hello. Hi. Nice to see you today. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing great. I am your friendly neighborhood asshole, Broke Gamers. I'm just here. I'm chilling. I'm hanging out, watching PUBG, watching the professionals play because I'm not a professional, but I like to play. So I'm going to watch the professionals play to maybe learn something, but not really learn something, but kind of learn something at the same time, okay? It makes sense? Doesn't make sense. We're going to do it. We're going to have fun with it. Yeah.
So you don't imagine that you're going to see a whole lot of point sponges because there are so many teams that are decent in this lobby. So is that going to make that cut line a little bit more on the low side or high side rather? And is it going to make things a little bit more complicated when we get towards the end of it? That's what we're going to be keeping an eye on, is that top 8, that 8th to 9th cut line.
I'm trying to remember. In Europe, it was 76, something like that, 78. I can't recall off the top of my head. So we've got Bestia presently sitting at 74. I feel like they're kind of the measuring stick right now, right? Godspeed. They're safe, but not safe, maybe, depending on how it goes. You guys can kind of take a deeper dive into it as we got our first game. Miramar is up in the air. Go ahead and take it away.
Let's go, baby.
Thank you. All right, we are ready to get up. I'm ready to go. Dude, if we're gonna start somewhere, it might as well be Miramar, right?
I don't have a hand that looks like a claw.
The dusty dunes.
I mean, this is your map too, right?
This is my favorite.
This is
map.
your baby.
Yes.
This is your baby.
This is Bay.
This is Bay.
The church.
So much Bay.
The Churumblers.
The Churumblers in the church. Yep. So we'll see. I mean, this is going to be an interesting lobby to see. Again, this is a lot of nostalgia, I think, for you and I as well. Again, seeing certain
we got a hot drop
together, seeing certain players.
Yeah. I think you might have actually had to pay a fine for getting in a fist fight with one of these guys at one point in your career.
It may or may not have happened.
It might have been Mr. Patrick Kaplan, if
I'm not here to confirm or deny.
And we in game, chat, in game, not in real life. We would never.
But look at this again. 55
Dustin would
contesting.
absolutely destroy Pat Caps, by the way. But
okay, all right. Let's
well, we've seen a lot of hot drops going on, but 55. This is not something
that
they need to get involved in early. But that's a good start here. If Triska's going to find Bizzler,
let's get the bit right
off
up
to the side. Nice shots with
rough.
that mutant to start things off.
Just to be clear, Pat would fold me IRL. Just he's that guy. But 55, yeah, continuing to go for the hot drop here, and LG are doing similarly what we saw in the hot drops off the first day. They're holding this long building, and this long building, this brick house, whatever you want to call it, is usually a good anchor point because you can rotate towards the south, and then you can pivot to either side to pinch. So, like that they're not getting over aggressive, but it's just, again, the early game fights can be so awkward, especially in this area.
Yeah, no, and it looks like potentially dangerous. Might have had an idea something might be going on here because you can see it's just kind of looking over in this direction. Still far away, so not really too involved. And
LG's like yeah, we're good. We're out.
Discretion being the better part of valor. Get on out of dodge and leave Power Grid for 55, at least for this game.
Right, and again, I spoke about it with Cam on the first day. Like when you hot drop, especially some of these South American teams, especially like some of the Chinese teams.
LG is playing to try to get in the top 8. They don't care about.
It doesn't matter if you get.
They're not trying to fight with the team that's on the bottom.
They are going.
There's no reason for them to fight with the team on the bottom.
If you are one of the teams that they happen to be, contesting, then you have to decide whether or not it's worth it. If you can farm that, right? If you can consistently get 3-4 kills without losing members, then sure, keep hot dropping. Otherwise, yeah, might be best to just find another position, and LG have done just that.
Yeah, I mean,
Firefly.
You don't want to go into a battle with somebody that has absolutely nothing to lose. And right now, it kind of feels like 55's in that territory here. Doobie gonna get a nice little spray down, and that's just gonna be enough to scare Joppa away and keep Doobie alive, keep Tilt Town 4 up for the time being.
But you missed your shots, my guy.
They've got some work to do. They're down here on the south side, and both teams really very wide split here. But Haven knocked. I guess it's, oh yeah, okay. This was, we were watching Potentially Dangerous. We saw it's keeping an eye on that the power grid, catches out Haven, and then instead of getting the flush, just decides to get on out of there. That's probably a good play for them.
Yeah, especially looking at Circle. I mean, we already see so many teams that are currently set up in the Circle. It is centered around Monty, so you're going to have the fields north of it. You obviously have that brick building, and then the compound overlooking, which is a very, very strong spot. We currently see Outlaw setting up there now, and so yeah, Tilt Town with a massive split, as you were saying, probably want to start moving their way into the Circle, especially with Fireflies and other teams already rotating ahead of them. That's going to be a challenge, especially if they try to sit back and hold them back.
It almost looks like Tilt Town's trying to pull a collapse here onto Fireflies. They're definitely keeping eyes on them as they make their rotation on this southern road. Meanwhile, PD, it's after leaving his compound, is going to get a little bit too close to Wuzhu 2. LFP with the shot, not going to land. And Itz will survive yet again. He's playing very dangerous
That's some good shots right there.
Around that power grid is Zero. We'll take the shots at that passing Firefly squad. So I guess Tilt Town, we're just kind of guiding Fireflies more than setting a trap.
Yeah, they're always hurting them on that southern road near the coast.
Yeah.
I mean, just basically shadowing them. But, I mean, I don't hate it, especially if they can get ahead of them or at least get into a position where they can continue to harass. That's just one more team and one side of the circle that they can take control of early. So I don't hate it from Tilt Town. I don't hate it at all.
No, absolutely. I mean, if you can maybe sneak one away off the trailing member in that rotation grouping, then that's a free point. And you take that every time. You can see they're making their way north towards Chumacera, the south side of the circle, through that dust storm. So mostly leaving Fireflies to their own devices. Meanwhile, the center of the circle getting very, very cramped here. Still got a few teams off to the east that still have to make their way in as well in Duel and Dots. And looks like Liquid now just arriving into Picado. Amem is up here. And they should be okay. I think 55 after leaving Power Grid have just kind of been on foot rotations. They're going to see these guys off in the distance, but no shots yet.
Yeah, and for a lot of the teams like Team Liquid, as well as some of the teams coming in late, like we were talking about earlier, Firefly, even Tilt Town, they know that they're not going to get a central position at this point, right? It's already phase one, circle's closing. A lot of teams, especially in a Monte circle, are going to rotate early if they have position to do so, given the plane path, because as you know, Boro, it's hard as hell.
You know what's hard out here
on
for
some of these
pimp.
positions that teams are holding if you're coming in late.
Jeremy,
so
how you doing, bud?
Expect some of these teams to just sit on the outskirts and wait for the next shift and hopefully get either a much better position or wait for a third-party opportunity.
Yeah, these outskirts teams also opting for these wide splits. You can see that coming from Toyo, from Fireflies, even Falcons splitting towards the center here. Most of the other teams around the town. Well, you got Wuzhu 2 with a big 2-1-1 all around Monte Nuevo. And we'll see if it pays off for him. Toyo, one of those teams with the wide split on the south side. Looks like they've eyeballed Falcons. And we'll see if Fireflies start to creep up on them on that western edge. Pippa looking over in that direction. Actually, Pippa looking off to the north, so he's just going to hear the engines coming more than anything.
Yeah, and I can see the Dots actually still coming in. Where were they? Puerto Paraiso?
Yeah, they are way out there.
They are cruising in right now, but
they are taking their sweet time.
That's okay, though. I mean, look at the southeast side of the circle, completely open. So they have a great opening there and good rotational points. So it's not the end. Again, if you're not going to come into the circle early, like I said in my last little spiel, then yeah, coming in late is fine because generally most of the teams will be centered up with just a few outliers. So not the end of the world for Dots. And from what we saw from them in the first day, I mean, they were getting scrappy. I actually really liked what I saw from that team initially. They were winning some good engagements. They got wiped in some, of course, but, you know, it's just part of the game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think at this point, this is one of those times where you take the fights, man. Try to play aggressive. Try to get as many points as you can. And if everything works out great, you make it to the grand finals. If it doesn't work out, you got a last chance qualifier to fall back on, and can use what you've learned a little bit here as we see Duel also late arriving here, just making their way through Minas. And Alo, meanwhile, has spotted out LG off in the distance. You see Purdy Curdy with that high ground looking off. He's looking off to the east, so he might actually be spotting out Duel here.
Yeah, some pot shots here as This gentleman now has the newly minted husband buff. You know, he'll be fragging at least 10 to 15% harder, if not 20.
Got a family to take care of now.
So he's a family man now.
He's a family. Nothing more dangerous.
Though to him. Yep.
Absolutely.
They have a I mean they're just gonna I like this split actually. I really like the split from Liquid a lot. You have a 2-2 split there with 2 members on the high ground as well as 2 holding the low ground, and Pippa's gonna tell you to just back up, son.
Pippa out here sniping with an M16.
Get out of here.
4X like it's 2016 or 2017. Like this is old school here from the lad himself.
The 8X on the old M16 was
I know that thing was a laser
heat.
though.
It was straight heat.
You worry a little bit that Tilt Town may figure out that he's by himself, and you can see that's kind of what he's thinking. He's hanging around next to his vehicle. He's got his teammates in Benya and Capitan off to the east that are looking over in his direction as well. They'd love to be able to stick this out as long as they can, and this is actually going to be good news, as it looks like the 2 Tilt Town boys are going to be pulling away, so they've got time to see where this next circle is going to go to, and that will be all right. Not great. A power grid circle. I'll tell you one thing, LG is happy that they were able to dip out of that hot drop as Falcons getting pulled up on by Team Liquid. Liquid going to lose Sparking. They're going to lose Purdy Curdy. Alo and Luke 12 now trying to get rid of Shrimsy before the rest of Falcons arrive, but Kickstart and H-Win have made it here. Now Liquid is going to have to pause down just long enough, but Shrimsy doing a good job of staying alive here as Tickleton has gone down.
Yeah, what an absolute mess. I mean, we caught it as it happened. Falcons were just, I don't know if they were unprepared or they just got caught off guard, but either way, 2 down, and now it's just a recovery there. So it was 2 down for Team Liquid. They've managed to pick up the 3rd. The nades are raining down. The double, though. Win is going to find a huge nade, and now it's just down to a 3v1. What can Luke do, especially with Win holding that? Oh, God, he's got the Panzer too.
Gats, though, from the high ground, Gats spots out Kickstart. And so now they've got Luke 12 very, very low. They know exactly where he is. He's got the Panzerfaust in hand. He's hoping, wishing, praying that Luke 12 would peek a window. But Luke playing it very carefully. I'm not sure if he saw that Panzerfaust and he knows what to expect. But he is just waiting for Falcons to make their move here. Meanwhile, you can see it just on the minimap. Gats keyed in, looking down in this direction. So they have to be careful about how they push.
The nade is going to go out. As you said, they have to be careful, as does Luke, though. Any window he peeks is an instant knock there, but the nade will be enough. 1v2, Luke has pulled through before. He's going to drop down, and he doesn't even hit the crowd. Shrimsy was so ready for that.
That was really well played by Falcons there, and Gats just being a giant pain in the butt here, but fortunately for Falcons, H-Win was hiding, was creeping around the crates, and as he was creeping, Luke wasn't able to spot him out and flush him out, so they'll be able to get him back on his feet 3 strong. Meanwhile, Wuju 2 and God Squad now battling over bricks, all present and accounted for here, as Shinboy going to be the first one to go down to LFP.
And God Squad had some very high kill count games yesterday, able to prove that they are indeed not as rusty as we may have thought. Pat Caps.
What's up, everybody? Welcome in.
With Balefrost
We're watching the
bottom,
PUBG
still 1 down. They got to get to
America
Shitboy,
Series.
Wuju2 is doing a good job of playing this one cautiously as well. They're not overcommitting even with the knock.
This is the day 3. This is to determine who goes
yesterday.
into the winners circle and who plays in the last chance qualifiers next week.
As things are falling apart here a little bit for God Squad. Wuju 2 playing this building perfectly through the smokes, but nice grenades back to back will find 2 as Sharp Shot will get flushed out by that blue zone grenade, but now sneak attack,
shot.
Goodness gracious, sneak shot and LFP are all by themselves here, but Pat Caps will find 1. God Squad still in it. Oh, he spotted him out, but he's got to retreat into the smoke, but Fana ain't gonna let him, and Wuju 2 will finish off the fight.
Damn, that was so close. Pat with the hero play, trying to get into the
why
smoke to avoid
am I not playing?
getting shot, but coming down off the top.
I got disqualified yesterday.
Well
I was
played
just
Wuju2.
too good, just fragging too much, and just
Gotta give
didn't
that man
make
his
it.
flowers, man.
Nothing's your fault. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. But good recovery there from Muji 2.
I thought I might be
That was the
cheating.
back. That could have gone either way. Down to the
They
last,
disqualified
last
me.
member.
That was very fun.
They said
fight
that
to
it was either
watch
me
there
or
in Bricks,
Tiggleton,
of course
and they let Tiggleton
Dust
in.
Storm has now arrived over in that as the circle has retreated away from them, heading over back towards the east into the power grid, where 55 feeling very good about themselves after their quote-unquote
But I'm
win
Tiggleton sub,
of the
so if
hot
he
drop
didn't play, I was
of
going to
Power
play.
Grid. LG still off to the southwest, though, and they're looking off in the distance, seeing if they can catch anybody, but potentially dangerous. They know what they're pushing into. Doesn't matter.
Well, he's younger and has a face, so there's that.
A little bit on an island here by himself. He's got to be careful.
We saw in day one that potentially Dangerous was not at all afraid to get in there, as the Panzer is going to take down Baki, but the Backblast is going to take down himself as well. So
He is
they're gonna
definitely
go for a
younger and
recovery
has a
here.
face.
Slabby is getting picked up, but like I said,
I mean-
potentially Dangerous. We're so aggressive and just not afraid to make plays. Sometimes it didn't work out for them, but
Oh, nice.
either way,
Yeah.
I like the
Flash
aggression here.
himself
Blue zone
there,
grenade.
There you go, fake. Okay, we'll spot out Theros. He's gonna
What I
spot
gotta
out
say about
another
the
one
gray
through
hair is just
windows.
keep
They're
living
trading
and it'll
back and
happen.
forth here, as now it's all down to fake, and he will be spotted out. No, he's gonna finish him off. And
Both of 'em.
no 55. Wait.
55, okay.
There we go. All right, I got a little confused there. My bad.
I got
It's been
confused
a
too.
while, Chad. I'm rusty, just like some of these guys are. But no, nice hold from 55. They will keep 3 alive as well. So potentially Dangerous. Try to make the push. It does not end up paying off for them. And now Wuju 2 starting to make their way
Straight to
into
white.
the western side of this zone. But they've got Outlaws right on top of them.
I'm gonna add a
Outlaws
color
are now
filter
gonna
to
set up
my
on the perch, dips across and above.
I'm gonna add a color filter to my camera. That
So,
way it
somewhat
makes my hair
annoying for
dark
Wuju 2
again.
that they were not able to take at least one out. Not quite. Very
At
low,
4.
but now Outlaws will pose a
At
problem
4.
because
1, 2,
Wuju
3,
has to
4.
rotate upwards into them, and then you also have another team on
stack.
that south side. It's going to be Fireflies, so Wuju 2 hopefully have to choose or need to choose the best situation so that they don't get third-partied coming in off the edge over there.
Name the
It's an
color
interesting
filter just a
situation
minute.
up here
Yeah,
on
no
the north
kidding.
side too.
Let's see.
Proyecto, very split. Haven and Posa just holding those high ground there. They have the Haven inside the compound, inside the zone. These areas of Kraken and Posa working around on the cliffs around them, but they don't know that Rezav is right off to their east. But they did spot out Tilt Town, so they have a number of people coming in, and nice shots there from Posa will start things off here from range. Posa is going to make it sing, and Gizera is going to get there right on time as well. Tilt Town in a bad way.
And a beautiful setup here.
Gotta add a mask.
Sitting up there,
Add a
Posa
mask
with
and
the
do
blue
my hair,
jammer, right?
and then
The
just
blue
make
isn't
it
ticking too
darker.
hard, and even if it was, he'd have meds going. Why not stay up there, get a knock, and just pick apart Tilt Town? I really love this play.
You can do
from El
that.
Proyecto.
This is good stuff from them, and this is stuff that we wanted to see from them, right? It's
Yeah.
we always talk about that this squad they're full of fraggers. We know that they can shoot. They know that we know that they're mechanically gifted. The problem that we have is that
I'm
they
not
play
shaving
so
my
safe.
head.
They try to
I will
get to
go get
late
a like a
game and try to just play low key up until then,
like
just
a
to try to get
yellow
placement
like a
points.
green
But well, we've always had that feeling if they would just open it up.
goal
Start
cap.
fragging out, they would find a lot of success, and it looks like that's what the plan is here today. So far, so good. El Proyecto, now they just got to get inside the zone.
Yeah, this is what I was worried about, though, for Wuju2. You had Firefly just slowly rotating over towards
Green
the
shower
southwest
cap,
in
exactly.
order to make sure that that side of the zone was clear for them, and now Outlaws are here to pinch Wuju2. Again, this is a nightmare situation for them.
That's good stuff from Nick, though. Win that 1v1, immediately retreat, heal up, get the rest of the boys coming over in this direction. But the problem is that they're getting shot from range from El Proyecto. Haven has an angle on this, so they can't stick around. They've got to make a decision. Meanwhile, Falcons pinned against the wall as well. They've got Duel behind, and they've got Rezav in front. And they have to make a decision here pretty quickly with only 3 up, how they are going to get inside this zone on the north end.
Yeah, they're just going to have to pick one, right? They're just going to have to pick one and push right into them. Now Outlaws
There it
are
is.
trying to finish off Wuju2 as it's just down to the final member, Sneak Attack. Can he live up to his namesake and cause some mayhem from the shadows? We'll have to see, but they are actively hunting him down as Trisk is also going to find Martin in the distance.
Yeah, they can't afford to stick around and wait for this smoke to dissipate to kill Sneak Attack. They've got people on their backs. They need to hurry up and finish this fight off because that is the problem. Gizera from range will get him low, but won't get the knock. So that is at least a little bit of good news here for Outlaws. They have this terrain that they can play around and keep El Proyecto at bay for now. But Sneak Attack's still alive here for Wushu 2. Maybe he might be able to sneak his way in.
Just looking at the rest of the circle. I mean, dots also
gotta stay moving and stay awake.
pushed
I'm
and
struggling.
maybe even herded into the side over here of 55.
Ugh.
Or
8 o'clock
Firefly.
till bedtime.
It looks like Firefly is content with just kind of holding their high ground spot right now, and Joppa the only one kind of looking over in that direction. So dots have a little bit of room.
You're gonna
to play
fall
with
in the
if
power
they
grid?
want to push this Toyo fight. They've got Bliss on the low side, but if he gets spotted out, they might be in a lot of trouble. And it looks like Emmy might have an idea that something's happening here. As a new
See,
circle
both of these teams landed in power grid,
but edge more towards the north.
but
So
LG
Toyo
left,
looks
and
like
then
they're
they
just
came
not
back.
even going to deal with it. They're going to go ahead and hop into vehicles, make the wrap around. But that is, I mean, look at the northeast part of this zone. Four teams right now, Godspeed, all fighting for it. And El Proyecto kind of keeping eyes on them and on the west side.
Yeah, Rezev, Sam Crismo, Falcons, Duel, all just bunched up in that northeast corner. Is now looks like Toyo is making their move. They want to get into one of these brick buildings or warehouses.
Ooh.
And it looks like they're gonna find one knock. So Gat's now trying to hold for Bizzler, and Toyo's just getting ripped apart from the outside as well, though. That's the problem.
Nice grenade there from Vox. Will flush him out. Bizzler will not be flushed out just yet. Capitan now the last player left alive. Luminosity doing a good job of holding their long building right now. They want to make sure they finish this man off before they turn their attention towards reviving their fallen teammate. Do they see Dots in the distance? Dots trying to use this as an opportunity to push up. Doing it a little bit more cautiously. There you go. Falcons will finish off Team Rezav. And it looks like they should have time to revive here as well.
Great awareness, though, from Duel. If you look at their positioning, as soon as that fight popped off, they actually managed to get into the circle, and they got into where that gate, that
There he
fence area is, just on the northeast corner. As sneak attack. I think he still gets that, maybe.
Oh,
Not
that
quite
was.
sure, but yeah.
I think he shouldn't he?
Love the repositioning,
yeah, there
though.
you go. Okay. Gump goes down, so Sneak Attack will sneak that one away as Falcons survive now through the smoke cloud and turn their attention towards Sam Crismo, who had them at a loss for a second, but Falcons being Falcons, they turn it around very quickly. 9 kills now for them as they hold strong. They've got El Proyecto on their back, so you can see they're getting pinched multiple directions here.
They were getting pinched, but K-Mind actually got knocked by 55. He was going for the off angle to somewhat sandwich and help Falcons, but he was thwarted immediately. So that's going to be a punish for Duel. They're going to have to get him up, use smokes and utility, and pull back. But 55 sitting just so comfortable in the center of that power grid compound.
Falcons perfectly content holding on to that little corner spot there. They've got a vehicle forward. They've got deployable covers. They're not going to extend more than they absolutely have to. Here's Curry. Will get the spray on the Kane, but the Kraken will return the favor as Firefly's down to 3. See if they can get the res on the Kane. They've got Nick pinned up against the wall in the hard cover, but nice headshots from him.
I just
will force him back, force Frost to
these
go back
guys
for the
see
heal.
shit before I
As Outlaws down
even
to
recognize
2.
what's going on.
And I mean, you got to give credit to El Proyecto, man. They have been just controlling this north side. They have just been ADR farming on everything as Haven will find Nick.
These guys see something that's happening before I ever realize what's going on. It's
gonna
insane.
cut a little bit more towards the east. Gonna still have a little bit of power grid involved, but everybody off on this western
I do
edge
too.
Gonna have to get
I have a 240 hertz monitor
like Nintone. The Kraken tried to go up
and play on
flush
ultimate
that,
graphics
Fireflies
with
forcing him back
190
down
to
as
220
well.
frames.
Maybe get this res. Okay, there we go. Get him back on his feet. And for the time being, it looks like they should be able to do that as Fireflies are just kind of hovering around. They don't want to overcommit here. And they also have to worry about El Proyecto.
My screen's too big. I can't do that.
And Haven specifically just taking those long range shots. But it looks like Haven and Kraken are finally going to go ahead and retreat, get back into that zone. So Outlaws may have a way in here. Joppa, though, he's He's
It's
going to
1920 by 1080. It's not the
That is going
4K.
to be the re-knock, and that might be all for Nick. We'll see if Intone can get. Oh, I'm sorry. I might be saying that incorrectly.
Here it comes. Bounce, baby,
I'm not
bounce.
100%
Oh.
sure. Nin to 1. 9 to 1. Hey, there we go. I bet that's what it is, chat. 9 to 1.
Hello.
Hey, he's back. What do you think? Is it 9 to 1?
I think it's 9 to 1. Whatever you want it to be, Poro.
That's what it is to me now. All right. 9 to 1 does actually get Nick back on his feet, though. So, Outlaws, I mean, Nick is struggling at this point. Bruised, battered, and broken. But they are still alive and still in this.
Just kidding.
They do seem to be, as seems El Project. Man, my goodness, these boys.
I'm telling you. I mean, for only having
so
6
solid.
kills, though, I mean, it feels like they've just been kind of dictating everything that's happened on that north side.
It's just the control. The
North.
control
Go
they've been
north.
able
Go
to
north.
hold
Go
is-
north.
Even just as a duo on that west side was very impressive. As we
Pull
now
out
see
of that.
Falcons still
Pull out of
holding
power
onto
grid.
that corner, still dealing with Sam Grismo just to their east, and Duel have actually. Dots. How did Dots slip in to that compound?
They came in as
Right
Duel was-
underneath LG.
Yeah, I mean, they came in as Duel was, as LG was holding off the push from the south side. They ended up spotting out
1920 by
that pushed in there.
1080.
I can't recall who it was at the moment, but Dots just snuck in behind him while Duel was focused off to the north. LG was focused off to the south. Dots was able to just sneak on in very, very cleverly here. While San Crismo, they are in a little bit of trouble, as it looks like Falcons is starting to feel a little bit more froggy. They'll get the knock on Nick, and Pentalol will go down as well. So Falcons, 9 kills already, but they're starting to run out of utility, so they've got to make some moves here, and it looks like the move is going to be to push right into Sam Crismo's crater.
That was a beautiful spray, especially just threading the needle through the
my
window.
goodness.
But DNL will return it back. A double headshot for him. Unbelievable. Now just down to win.
And DNL saving the day there, and actually going to go down to a grenade from
Makes a
K-Mine.
huge
So
difference,
Duel
does it?
still kind of dictating everything on that north side, and they're going to be able to snake a few kills away from there, get the knocks away from Falcons, as H-Win will get spotted out in the end by El Proyecto. So Falcons will go down in 7th place, but not before getting 11 kills. And now look at LG. They're starting to get more active, but immediately Andrew will get the knock. But okay, good trade back. Can they get Vox back on his feet? You can see the angles that 55 has here.
And really, it's just going to come down to what 55 does when they're pushed by either Dots or Duel. They have to make that approach at some point. Duel kind of waiting for their approach, maybe coming in at a more opportune time to kick off this third party. But look at El Proyecto going up to the northwest side, right above Luminosity, putting so much pressure on them, Poro.
Oh, they're going in there with a fully loaded caddy. They got all 4 deep and immediately jump out, start throwing util. Not going down despite getting knocked so low. And LG going to have to use this, or actually it looks like they're using this to retreat a little bit, get that hard cover, have snakers around that rock. They don't know about Bizzler though. So that could be the thorn in the side here for El Proyecto, but it's actually Gazera might know. He's looking over in that direction. He's waiting for somebody to peek around the outside of that smoke, but Bizzler not taking the bait, and El Proyecto doing a very good job of just holding their ridge line, not overextending more than they have to.
No, their spot is good as long as they can stave off any of the pushes coming from LG. They can also, they have good sightlines onto the fight over near Duel 55 and Dots. So, but this is where it gets dangerous. If they go too far, if they crest a little too much, they're going to start taking casualties. Snakers now letting his spot be known. And it looks like they're just going to back him up.
Yeah, no, they've been doing a great job so far of just of doing exactly this, playing that zone control, not extending further than they have control over. And so far it's worked out great for them. They managed to get one away, and I think actually 55 stole that knock away from Duel. So Lynxy will pick up a little bit of utility off their fallen teammate and will continue to survive a little bit longer here. LG now outside of the zone will have to figure out a way to get in, but Dots 3 deep in the shed. You can see LG is just completely pinned. They need to get a knock here to open things up here, but what a shot from Baki. as Vox has no helmet, barely any vest remaining. LG in a lot of trouble as Snakers will get spotted.
Yeah, in order to avoid the fight with El Proyecto, they just kind of put themselves in I don't know if it's arguably a rougher position, but now they have not only El Proyecto looking at them, but 55 as well as Dots kind of pinning them down. So the rotation back or the push in is going to be potentially stunted by just how many teams are visibly, I mean, look at these angles, able to see them. So LG are going to have to create some sort of miracle for themselves in order to survive. But hey, I believe I've seen crazier things in PUBG.
Oh, for sure. No, you just got to imagine at this point, LG, they can't be sitting on much. I mean, they got pushed away from the drop, and Snakers will find one. Dots will get eliminated in the end, and LG still alive for the time being. I'm not sure who it was that was still up, but they get spotted out, so Luminosity will go out in 4th place. Now 55 playing the top of this spot here. They've got Duel pinned down, but you got to think El Proyecto looking pretty good considering they've got a lot of space to work around here.
Yeah, the problem for me, though, when it comes to 55 is that Duel have now gotten ahead of them. Now, this could work in their favor or against them. If there is an engagement here with El Proyecto and Duel, then that's going to be the room that 55 needs to move out. But at the same token, they're stuck on the same angles that El Proyecto is holding. So realistically, how much can they get off of this? El Proyecto, as you said, again, 8 kills, have played perfectly up to this point.
They have been, I mean, it's just been textbook. I don't even think they've taken a knock so far this game. If they have, I can't remember it. Trisk going to run into the blue zone there from the flashbang. Tries to make the push in. They'll spot out Lynxy. They'll spot out Pentalol, and that'll be Duel out in 2nd place. And now 55 up to 9 kills. They've got the smoke wall laid down, but Fake is going to get immediately spotted by Haven. Haven gets 2. Can he get all 3? El Proyecto in the driver's seat as Baki, the last player left alive for 55. Can he pull off a miracle through the smoke, through the fire? Posa will take the shots. Hell, Baki finds one. Maybe. No, it's not going to happen. And El Proyecto getting a much-earned victory here in game number 1.
Okay.
The zone control from El Proyecto all game was just so on point. But to give credit to 55, how often do we said it? They just were firing on all cylinders. They were just so clean with the way that they cut off rotations.
11 kills for Falcons.
Within that circle, especially when they were
12
split.
points total.
Okay, so 16 points
from potentially danger.
What is this? 19. And it's going to be right above them. Duel. Who
70, so they're inside the safe zone for now.
Something like that inside that game, a bit more than that. So they started off only at 18 points. So this is also another
55 moved up to 23.
This is one of the teams you were kind of talking about coming into this as well. And it feels like they've got a lot more gelled today, at least.
Taking these fights. We can win most of these fights that we take if we just do it. So it seems like they're being a little bit more aggressive. They're trying to assert themselves a little bit more, flex their muscles a little bit more. At least through this first game, that's what it looked like. And if they keep that going, Dustin, I think that's a good sign there for El Proyecto.
Yeah, and I think you are correct because when you look at that roster, you look at Gizera, Haven, Posa, Kraken, right? Like these are very, very talented players. But then you just look at Gizera, even on his own, right? Just saw a breakout star fragger from his region when he first debuted. Someone that we expect a lot from mechanically and who has delivered quite a lot of the time, even when he has played.
There's going to be another hot drop.
Zone. So I agree. I think
another hot drop.
Being passive too much is something that they had an issue with, especially like when you have like a straight crazy fragger just kind of leashed up, not able to.
Yes, it is.
Kind of
another hot drop.
Do his job. So I like seeing that early aggression. I like seeing the traps. I like seeing the proactive play. That is something that I don't want to say we're missing from them.
They didn't spread out as much this time though.
And we have yet again 55.
All right,
super comfortable contesting LG.
They sure are. Well, LG feeling a little bit more comfy now that they've managed to make them get themselves up into 7th place, 63 points overall. So they might stick around for this. We'll see how it goes. But at 55 has probably a little bit better position on that northern side. It would be really tough for LG to push, and I can already see. I already saw one of the 55 boys had that Panzerfaust in their hand. But really, it's just a question of Aki and Trisk. Are they going to take a peek here. Are they going to get spotted out? Will somebody get a knock?
I mean,
That's
the Falcons
Vox
are
is just
my.
hard peeking Trisk right now.
I like the team. I like the Americas team with Singleton and Ramsey and
this distance, one
Kickstart,
shot in the head
H1.
definitely is
I like
gonna
those
put someone
guys.
down.
But
And you can see that it looks like LG
so, I mean,
is
I
more
was
inclined,
I was a
as you
Sonics
stated, after
fan
a solid first game,
because of those guys, and I'm gonna
inclined to
be a
actually
Falcons
contest this
fan
hot
now
drop.
because of that. So,
But I like what 55 is doing. Notice that they have one member super far off to the west going for a
but as far
wide
as a
flank. He has to be careful though. Those two members have to be super
as far as
careful not to make any mistakes
an
because
underdog
if they get
style
knocked, this falls
team,
apart.
LG is definitely
H11,
one of those teams.
A lot being put on his shoulders right now. As everybody just kind of, and LG for their part, they're just kind of tanking up and waiting for 55 to be the aggressors here to see if they make a mistake. So far, nobody making a mistake either way. As we check in, looks like Hain getting a little bit close to Team Liquid, but it looks like he'll be able to dip on out. I'm not sure if he saw an open door or something. Yeah, something gave it away.
He just robbed that man.
Yeah,
stole
why
his
not?
car.
Looks tilted by that, but that's okay. And another one, Tilt Town and Firefly, a little 2v2 here. Joppa gonna get knocked a little bit low right at the bat, has the Molotov in hand, tries to hold off the push from the side, reads him like a book, but it might not matter. Joppa will win that 1v1. Can he turn it around? Can he get the second 1-0 peeking around the side? He will. Well played by Joppa.
Green hell, what is that?
So clean. The molly, the pre-fire on the right angle peak. Joppa, my goodness. That's what you love to see. That was just clean. And he had a half HP. He started off that fight, at a deficit. That was impressive. Color me impressed.
I'm telling you, a scared player would stop down after that first knock and try to go for a heal. But a guy who's feeling it just says, you know what? I'm going to win this next 1v1 too. I don't need the health. So.
That's probably just good comms of his teammate calling. Like, I mean, how many times have you heard in your pub games, he's lit, and he's not lit at all. But but in that case, he was actually lit. So Joppa went for it. That was just clean, man. That was just very clean.
Super well played. Well, H11 Jr. has managed to pull off this flank for the most part. Looks like Snakers has spotted out somebody. No damage coming through just yet. And I don't think LG has any idea that H11 is over here. Meanwhile, you can see Wushu 2 just off to the north. And then we've also got an E pickup in the air. I'm not sure if somebody's on that already. Was that a Dots E pickup or was that somebody else?
I actually missed it as well.
Hard to say.
I didn't see who was actually in it. Yeah.
It might have been a
Interesting
Dots. I
game.
don't see anybody trailing behind it, so I think maybe Dots just didn't get there in time. But there you go. Fake will find the opening knock on a Vox. And that's going to open up the door now for 55, but Gats will spot out that flanking member of H11 Jr., so that will slow things down. Once again, Vox has that wall to hide behind. He's got a smoke laid down for him to stay alive, but Baki and Trisk on the run, trying to get over here and see if they can take position.
Yeah, Snakers with a bad boy peek and making it very difficult here for any member of 55 to get close, but it looks like a few have actually made it onto the side of this brick. So Trisk now going for an assault here. Snakers has to be careful up top.
Yeah, hard to see since we had the x-ray. I'm not sure if Trisk managed to spot him out on the side of that smoke, but he's going to see him now. Gats, though, he doesn't spot him, but it doesn't matter. Trisk wins that 1v1 and gets the flush on his, to Gats. H11 Jr. still down. 55 not wasting any time, though. They want to take it right to the jaw of Luminosity. Vox back on his feet, trying to heal up. I don't think he has a health. He's just sitting there on low HP, holding an angle.
I do love this tempered aggression, though, coming out from 55. They're just working so well. And as I say that, you know what? There's some more green boys coming to the coming to the field. It's going to be Falcons that are now getting involved, and Fake is going to go down. But this is the risk when you hot drop, is not only do you have to deal with the team that you're contesting, but if other teams know that you're constantly in this area contesting early, like they're going to come in third party, and that's exactly what has happened here. As Tig is going to flush out Fake and take that point.
Everybody else in the lobby knows exactly what's going on, and if they're feeling froggy, they'll jump. They'll come over here and get involved. Now Baki, Trisk, see them just holding angles. The last two alive. They'll spot out Vox. Vox push. Oh my goodness, Vox somehow stays alive despite not having any HP. Takes one shot and has managed to pull back around. Falcons.
Whoa, chill, friendly fire.
Falcons got their point and dipped. They're feeling they're happy with what they ended up with.
Luminosity, though, still at least have recovered to 3 members. So they did lose one, right? Gats did fall, but they were fortunate enough to also be the ones that control the brick. So they avoided a lot of that third-party interference. Now is LG with the advantage as far as the man advantage, but we'll have to see how they play this one out. Because, again, I do like the way that 55 has just been very deliberate in their movement so far.
Yeah, I mean, were it not for the third party from Falcons, you'd have to like 55's chances in this one of finishing a little bit quicker. But even still, Baki and Trisk playing it very, very cautiously. Both teams really just kind of sitting around waiting for the other to make a mistake. And we've got a dust storm that's about to arrive here as well. Meanwhile, on the south side, we've got Team Liquid and Firefly trading shots from range. Is Alo going to spot out our hero from earlier, Joppa? Just kind of in no man's land, unfortunately, and he's going to go down. Oh, what a shot from
Alo
Andrew.
Might go down as well. He's not careful. He just caught one straight to the mouth. So he's going to have to heal here, but covering fire from Purdy.
And immediately repeats. That is the most Alo thing
Yeah.
ever.
I saw the tracer hit him like in the gums, like just straight to the face, and he's like, "I'm good. I'm just gonna repeat this."
Yeah, why not? Why not?
That's that confidence, you know.
I'm freaking him. I'm him, man. Well, the rest of Fireflies will try to abandon ship in the Bronco. Luke gonna give them a little bit of support on their way out, as Shrimsy will finally get credit. I'm not sure if that's finally or what happened there. They actually ran into Toyo over in Bricks. Okay, so Falcons catching one as Tickleton gets knocked very low. Maybe got knocked again. Tickleton just having no luck here so far in these early games. He's the bullet magnet so far, it seems, for Falcons.
It's okay as long as the other 3 survive. I think that team's in good shape. Losing Tig sucks for sure, but it is what it is. Is 55. This fight's still going on. I say fight, but it's really come down to a stalemate now, as LG don't want to lose any more than what they've already lost in Gats. So
Fox finally got health, though.
Yeah, the problem is, like, look at these angles that 55 is holding. Like, even if they wanted to leave, 55 is just making it so obnoxious for them to do so safely.
Yeah, this is tough for sure. I mean, the fact that Vox is back up to full HP, though, kind of opens up some more options here for Luminosity. They can be a little bit more aggro, as Vox was back up to full HP, and now it's down to half. But Baki will find Snakers, and now it's a 2v2, but Baki's going to go down to Vox with that Tommy gun. Trisk, he hears the footsteps.
Oh, no way.
Him, and there you go. Vox will finish him off, and what a fight there at the end. Comes down to a 1v1, but LG will get everyone back on their feet.
I mean, if anything, again, these are confidence boosters for 55. Sure, they just got wiped, but they made that 2v3 so close in the end. And like you said, if it hadn't been for the interference by Falcons, I mean, the chances of 55 there, for me, were fairly high as well. So, again, great play for them. But also, you know, hats off to LG for surviving the 3 and maintaining their numbers throughout the push and the third party.
Showing a lot of patience there. Both teams really showing a lot of patience. And honestly, that fight couldn't have concluded at a better time because
what's up, Vinny? How you doing, buddy?
Hard to the north. So
Raider Fields.
They've got some rotating to do here, as El Proyecto, our game 1 victors, are already in a good spot here, just off to the east of La Cabrera.
Same.
Potentially dangerous, being shepherded here
Watching
by
some
Team
pub.
Rezav.
Watching some pub. Did you get your computer?
The shots from
or did you not get it?
High, a nice little 2-2 split here.
Did you get a computer or did you not get a computer?
They can find something. Now they got Wuxia 2 in their sights as well.
You didn't.
Yeah,
Why not? What happened?
Sites, that's a problem for me. I mean, Red Dot Mini.
It ain't great.
It's less than ideal.
But it's something. I mean, the man was taking silenced mini iron sight shots moments ago, so he's upgraded since. But they're landing some of them.
Yeah, he has upgraded to a red dot, and this is generally such a good spot to hold, but it becomes problematic when a lot of other teams start to realize that there's a team in the high ground, because there's pockets up there to play that are level enough to
You
kind of break line
rebuilt
of
your
sight with all the other angles
new PC
that would potentially be a danger to you. But the real problem comes when you get pushed from
on a
that
different
north
website,
side. So
$400 cheaper,
Rezav needs to be
and get a free 4K
be
monitor.
aware of that as we move over now to the God Squad, comfortably on the east side of the circle,
Right?
and they're just.
You
You didn't know what site that is.
Yeah, they got that knock onto Haven. And it looks like El Proyecto will get him back on his feet at least. But now Kraken gets knocked, and I think because the Kraken was the one that was going for the res onto Haven. So yeah, both of them down. As Lauscha, well, they might not have very many scopes, but at least Lauscha's got the 6x.
Yeah, I didn't think that they had that PC for that little.
Great first game here, kind of getting pulled apart here from multiple angles. God Squad and Rezav just making life miserable for him.
And you can see two members of Dual Split also looking in that direction.
Cyberpower. Cyberpower is a good computer.
Or if it's with their time is. Actually, this is really odd looking at the mat. Yeah, look at the split between God Squad and then Duel. They're getting so close. It's like they're both pushing El Proyecto at the same time without realizing how close they really are to each other. But it does seem like Penta and the rest of Duel now are actually splitting off, using this Sandstorm to get a rotation going.
I love this from God Squad, though. I mean, the second they saw that second member go down for El Proyecto, they immediately sent two over, and Shimboy getting active as he's got a shotgun rider and Balefrost with him. The rest of the gang in vehicles heading over in this direction as well. EL in a little bit of trouble as now it's Sam Crismo has an angle from way downtown into Gizera as he gets knocked very, very low, and that is infuriating.
Yep, I was just about to say that is so obnoxious. I'd be yelling at my, leave me alone, please.
Hey, 2 or 3 weeks.
Straight away, man. What are you even doing?
Well, you got time now to transition to figure out how to use your current PC as a stream PC and get you a capture card. You get your capture card and I can set you up. Make it muy caliente.
Still, though,
that way you have no
just maintain control up here. I mean,
issues with your new
kills,
PC.
The amount of damage they've been able to put out onto the teams that have unfortunately landed underneath them has been quite significant, and we can see Wujitu now just down to 2 members. And potentially dangerous as well, trying to hold out, but they also have 2 members currently knocked.
Ooh, that's been a tough one here for both of these squads. As you mentioned, I mean, Rezav just raining bullets down, so there's only so many angles you can work from, and you don't want to have to blow through all of your smokes if you can help it. But Fana will get the flush onto Gabriel. Theraz slowly bleeding out.
Yeah, all you need is a capture card. There's other ways to do it, but the capture card is by far the easiest, right?
Meanwhile, Proyecto, they're back up to full strength as God Squad could not continue making that push.
No, an impressive stuff on the recovery there from El Proyecto, because it was looking very grim. I mean, they had
I actually have a capture card
knocks, so the fact
that I'm not using.
Kudos to them. As we now see, looks like Fauna is trying to make this wrap around towards Slabby, so
Where?
PD will at least get 1 member back up. With only 1 casualty here, but still, this is basically fighting for the control of the east side, because once this circle kind of shifts and this crater's out, they still have to deal
I have
with
an
the team of
Aber
Rezav
Media
right above
capture
them.
card that I'm not using.
Fight ASAP. So that nade almost got close enough to Fauna, but he realized and backed up.
One thing they got going for him right now is that Rezav has
In one of these drawers.
a lot of other problems that they need to worry about off to the north and to the east, so they can't afford to just stare down into this dip. So Fana has a little bit more room to work around, but see, potentially dangerous, just dug in there like a tick. Man,
Oh Lord, pay me in cookies.
For Fana.
I don't know about all that though, but
and he does not want to peek that unless he has to. And meanwhile, on that south side, you can see Outlaws. They have that high ground as well.
They're on sale right now at Best Buy for $142.
Circle decides to go. Meanwhile, El Proyecto's still out in the blue. They're taking shots over towards.
I don't know which one I have actually.
They've managed to get a couple of knocks, and that might
Which
actually
capture
pay
card
off.
do I
So
have?
it's now shifted off to the north here. Slabby will find Fana in the end, as Wushu 2 will go down in 15th place.
What an awkward circle this really is. As I look at this shift, the center is just dirt roads and weird slopes. I mean, if anything,
Have
else, you still have pieces
the-
of Crater Field and that kind of compound that we saw potentially dangerous fighting Wujitu in, but there is not much to play, actually. I mean, in the center of the circle, this is an awkward ending.
It really will be
Oh.
interesting to see how this one goes. God Squad, meanwhile, has dots head to rights, pulling through. They get a lot of damage. Won't get a knock. There you go. Sharp shot. We'll find hot and spicy. But I don't know if he's going to be able to get the knock. We'll send the grenade on over. We'll see if it
Looks
goes. No, it's going to be a little bit short, unfortunately.
I have the I have the
Obviously should go
capture.
with that
I have the
P90
I have the
and Sharp shot will have to pull back away
HD60S.
from the door, so dots survive a little
So
bit longer, but at what cost? I mean, you got God Squad on both sides. Goodness gracious, Bliss just gets absolutely roasted, and Sharpshot now can afford to put a little bit more arm into that grenade, but gets spotted by Joshi. Dots not giving up without a fight here. Shimboy trying to find that angle, but the smoke's gonna keep Dots alive here for the time being.
That was a commitment from Sharp to throw that nade. He knew it too. Running outside, just straight lobbing that thing, trying to channel his inner Montana. But you know, either way, he should be able to get recovered. But though the double headshot, that quick peek right before that was just filthy, just disgusting. Exactly what I would expect from Sharp.
He's still a nasty boy all these years later. Sick with it. Well, you got God Squad should be able to get him back on his feet, but they do have Sam Crismo in the town, as well as El Proyecto starting to get there as well. So Lockcover area.
Okay. So you want that?
Dangerous. Meanwhile, on
You
this
want this
south
one, bud.
side,
If you want to get
potentially
one,
dangerous after finishing off Wuju 2. they've
the
got Team
Elgato
Liquid on their doorstep.
HD60X is the newest one from Elgato.
Have with that high ground. Sam Crismo, meanwhile, has been spotted out. So God Squad, despite taking that knock, get him back on his feet and immediately are back on the hold.
Yeah, and they've been able to hold very impressively so far. Yesterday, again, the kill counts for this team were I don't want to say surprising, just impressive for some of these guys who haven't necessarily been in comp or haven't played as much. I mean, they are like a fish to water right now. They are just cruising in the water.
Yeah, sometimes it works like that. You take a break for a while, come back in, and all of a sudden it's like you never left and you're just playing at an incredibly high level. And sometimes it takes a few games to knock the rust off. As we see Bizzler now, the last one left alive here for LG after fighting their way out of La Cobe. Potentially dangerous. Trying to figure out a way to find the crack in the armor of Team Liquid, but Laucha gonna spot out its. So now it's all down to just one player. I think it's Slabby for PD. As we cut back up to God Squad, new circle has popped again. It's going to the north, so all of the crater fields are out.
I like the smoke. I like slowing things down, going up so he can pick up Shinboy. That smoke as well, very well placed. That pretty much put a complete halt onto the push there of the Dots. Meanwhile, Team Liquid in a precarious position. Nice spray from Alo. He's going to find that one and get rid of potentially dangerous. So here we go. God Squad. I have faith they can hold this push, but it really just depends on how Dots does engage on this. I was impressed with a few of their engagements.
I know because I have a really good computers as well, Vinny. But I know that if I run,
and keep in mind,
if I run the game and OBS at the same time, then add all the sources, it's going to slow it down. It has to. There's no way around it, right? Then you're gonna have to lower your graphics and your frames are not gonna be as good. It's just better for a 2 PC setup, especially when you're running a game like PUBG.
As two duos, and they've got time to play this out though. They've got the circle still, as Sam Crismo has cleaned out Luminosity. They're being very, very careful about how they want to push forward here.
Yeah, especially because there's no need for them to push forward just right this second. They arguably have a better spot in the circle. They can rotate further south into what's left of La Cabrera. So they're just going to kind of wait for that fight between Dots and God Squad to finish up. Purdy's going to get knocked. Martin, he's going to find two. He finds two knocks. Beautiful stuff. There's now Liquid on the back foot. It's just down to Luke.
Oh my goodness. Shades of the final game, game 6 yesterday, where Liquid was full strength and just ran into a buzzsaw immediately. But Luke 12 will try to get some more points for him in the end. They will go down in 11th. They do manage to get 6 kills for themselves at least. But yeah, man, Liquid just Martin destroying them on that peak. He had the high ground, so he had a good angle for it. But still, you got to hit those shots.
Yeah, the sprays were clean. He was able to reposition, take his time, refocus his crosshair after the first spray. You know, just the trigger display, everything was just good. It was very well executed there. And unfortunately for Liquid, they also got pinched from other angles. But Razav, man, they've lived on that area for a while, and they've now cleared out pretty much everyone else on the south except for the Outlaws. But it looks like Laucha will go down to one of the members of the Outlaws, is Shane Doe with the P90 now. With a huge task ahead of him, and that's going to be getting rid of God Squad.
And there goes Razav as Fisher gets spotted out. But now the circle has pulled away from the city. So all 3 of these teams, rather, that are inside the city, and Duel, who's just off to the west, will have to make their way in. And lest we forget, Falcons are still 4 strong on that western side. We haven't really talked about them that much. They've got 7 kills already, and they have just been kind of working their way in and taking the perfect fights on this western side. We'll see how they play out here, but right now the fight is for the city as God Squad try to survive. They will take out Dots, but that's going to draw the attention of Sam Charismo. But it looks like they don't really want a piece of this. They've got a route to get inside the zone, and that's what they're going to take instead.
I like this. Set up in front of the team that you want to hold out in the circle. Make sure yourself put them on the back foot. I actually really love this from Sam Charismo. Great play, but Falcons really are going to be the issue. Once they get rid of the Outlaws, if they are to get rid of the Outlaws, they are going to take control of the center and just really cause issues for a lot of the teams that are left. Pretty much everybody, actually. They are just going to cause issues for the entire lobby once and if they take control of the center of this circle. It really just comes down to the Outlaws holding them off and Sam Charismo.
My big question right now for Falcons is where's Duel decide to go, because they are all in vehicles right now. It looks like they've got eyes on a spot, and they're going to send it. Meanwhile, Sam Charismo has that dip that they can work around. They know the God Squad is there. They've got Sam Crow looking over in that direction, and it looks like Duel is just going to send it. Yeah, they're just going to send it to the little bowl here, so that's going to keep Falcons free and clear to operate on that southwestern side. They can do pretty much whatever they want for the time being, as God Squad will lose 1 off the Sam Crow grenade, as Belfrost will go down to the blue zone. Grenade gets flushed. And here we go. The push coming through from God Squad. Spray from Sam Crow will get him low, but won't get the knock just yet.
God Squad just, I was going to say, by some miracle, managed to make it out of there. But Duel will make short work of that, as Gizera will also go down after a knock to DNL, and Sam Charismo holding ground. Well played.
All right, here, Old Man Gamers Duel. They've managed to make it to the top 4 again. Let's see if they can get a little bit more out of this one than they did the last time here. As Falcons try to push here, 9-1 will find the knock on a kickstart, but immediately traded back as Outlaws will get taken down. Falcons now up to 9 kills, complete control over the south side, but Duel is on the move. You can see Penta and Lynxy leading the charge down here, and they're going to try to take a little bit more of a central position, and that's going to open up a little bit of room for Sam Charismo to move around on that northern side. Oh, and look at that. Duel gets the center of the circle here.
That is a huge shift in favor of Duel, but it actually causes more problems than it solves, because now the other teams are going to be rotating around and basically pinching Duel. Oh, man. They needed to pick a side, and the shift didn't help them. It actually hurt them.
It didn't. It actually did, because they just happened to be in a split trying to go for that wrap, and they had no idea. Just a beautiful flanking position from Tiggleton. Will spot out Penta. Lynxy going to go down as well. Shrimsy going to go for that push. Shrimsy, though, gets taken down by Nick. So Falcons in a little bit of trouble. I don't even know if they know that they've got Wooly in their midst, as Wooly will find kickstart. Gets the knock, almost gets the flush as well. Follow up with the Molotov H-Win all by himself here. Shrimsy is going for the res right now onto Tiggleton.
Yeah, and this is now starting to look like it's going to be all Sam Charismo's game, as while our two teams in the North Americas have been fighting, Sam Krismo has just been so patient on that north side, and now they are starting to close the vice if they can, but Falcons actually looks like they're going to recover here. If Sam Krismo doesn't get this done quickly enough, that's going to be a full recovery for Falcons.
DNL could be so huge right here for Sam Krismo. The big flank from the side. He's going to catch him unawares. Gets one. Can he get two? He can't. Kickstart with a clutch knock onto DNL. And that is going to be a huge knock there. 4 kick. It's going to get Falcons back up to full strength.
Not only does that give Falcons back up to the full strength, but now they have the numbers advantage. I love the positioning there from DNL, but the coordination, the rest of his team was not ready to capitalize.
If he would have gotten both of those, though, that would have been just a hero play. And he was so close. But in the end, Falcons just too much to handle, as Sam Krismo will continue to hold this ridgeline on the north side. They've got the low ground, but they're going to run out of space really quickly. We just got to see where this next zone decides to go.
Would you say that in the end it didn't even matter?
It didn't. It didn't. But I love the idea, though, man. I really do.
Too.
That is so gutsy from DNL to come over the top.
Like
and
I said,
almost pulled it off too.
The positioning was great. I love the play in general. I just wish that the rest of his team was able to come and at least capitalize off that. But at the same time, if you're a playmaker and you see an opportunity, sometimes you have to go for it. So I'm not faulting him. It's just unfortunate. You know,
I mean, you almost say even if it was if they would have just sent two, you know, like instead of just sending one, send two, and they would have had that easy. But yeah,
they were still recovering though. I think from duel, right? Because they split that fight. So
that's true.
That makes sense. It makes sense.
And you know, and they're not out of it by any means right now. It's a 4v3, and they've got good position here. They could pull off something if they manage to catch one of these Falcons guys slipping now. Shrimsy off on his own on the flank here. He's got to be really careful. Good shots from Sam Crow will get him damaged. If he takes a couple of headshots, though, he could be absolutely roasted, and that could spell disaster here for Falcons. But Shrimsy, smart player, will just go ahead and pull back away now that he's been found out.
And so far, I mean, Sam Krismo have done well to hold this, but Falcons now using all of their utility. Those smokes are going to cut off so many angles that allow them to get just closer and closer to maybe closing this one out. 13 kills for Falcons, 7 right now for Sam Krismo. Both these teams have had their fair share of teams to get rid of between the two of them. It's 20 kills between just these two squads alone. But again, Sam Krismo doing a good job of staving off the push.
Yeah, they're very much on the defensive right now, but I think that's the only option that they have available to them, really. I mean, Falcons, they've got 3 men pushing from one side, and then Shrimsy just kind of keeping eyes on everyone and feeding information over. If anybody starts to creep away, he takes a few shots, pushes them back into their spot, and now Falcons looks like they might be considering making the push here. They're assuming that Sam Krismo is sitting low on utility at this point, and they are absolutely correct. Only a few flashbangs remaining for Sam Crow. Sam Crow actually has nothing left, and nice spray will get Tiggleton low, but immediately traded back. You can see the damage coming through as Shrimsy finding angles here. Kickstart will find the opening knock here. And they pull back.
Still, though, yeah, Sam Krismo is making this messy, and Lopes, for even though he got knocked, the amount of time that he wasted on Falcons just holding them back is just well played.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, they just had no real good options as Sam Crow will spot out Shrimsy, so it's another point picked up in the end as Nick will get knocked, and now it's all down to Sam Crow, and Falcons know it. They're going to go ahead and push. They're not wasting any time with this one. The smoke will slow things down just a little bit, but H-Win going to go for the low side. We'll spot him out, and that'll be it. Falcons will get the Game 2 win with 16 kills.
And an impressive play. Absolutely, but I have to give a lot of credit to Sam Krismo, man. Yes, I mean, Falcons played that amazingly. They cleared their south side. They then pushed through on duel, but again, just the whole game. I'm looking at the whole game for Sam Krismo. That was impressive from the macros, the rotations coming in, holding out teams on that northeast side, deciding to go around God Squad, get into the circle early, and just keep one as an anchor point, using the smokes to get across, setting up the vehicles against duel when they crashed in. Just everything from Sam Krismo screamed to me very well played.
No, very, very intelligent stuff there, and you can see it. You can see Falcons. They knew if they made one misstep they could have found themselves losing that game. So good credit to Sam Crismo. But once again, the Falcons at the top, as we all expected to see. Well, we're going to take a quick break to show you some highlights, and then we'll come back, bring Matt in, and we'll talk about game number 2 and get ready for game number 3. Don't go anywhere.
Falcons and Sam Crismo put on an impressive, I guess, counterplay kind of situation that was going on. You can see that there were a lot of back and forth that were going through. It was a very strong set of controlled positions that they were playing from. It was really interesting to kind of watch how that kept breaking down and kind of led into what you guys were talking about, the war of attrition and just the utility that slowly started being lost by Sam Crismo for him.
Yeah, I mean, the Falcons just had a death grip on it, but Sam Crismo, I mean, if they would have got that knock on Shrimsy early and turned it into a straight up 3v3, like they had the low ground, they were in the tougher position, but it was going to be really tough for Falcons to kind of push in there and dig them out. So Sam Crismo played it exactly how they should have, and Falcons, of course, playing it exactly how they should have, being very, very patient, showing that international experience as a team, and 26 points for a win. That's nothing to shake a stick at.
Yeah, but 14 points. I was impressed with just I don't have a better word for it, but other than just chutzpah that was coming out from Sam Crismo. These guys were unrelenting in their defense, Godspeed, constantly trying to find angles. They didn't really have all of the best terrain to work with, but they found what was working for them. And you saw Falcons a couple of times try to step back down into their line and were like, this might cost us too much, and had to step away from it.
All right, Team Falcons won that fight.
The ability
Good deal.
to hold off Falcons the way that they did, and not just the Falcons, but other teams that were within their vicinity. You go. I'm gonna step out.
You've missed this. You've missed me.
Not.
You've missed this chat. I have not. I will say that.
Not.
Well, Falcons, they haven't. They didn't take any time.
But you're a
bitch.
bitch.
Off of this thing. They immediately getting back in here. 101 points in 8 games. That is a nice way to start things off for Falcons fans. What do you think? What?
I just don't think they just don't stop practicing. I mean, those boys, it doesn't matter how many events they've won, how many events they've done well at, how many events they haven't done well. They will be grinding because they have a goal. They want to win a PGC, and they will not stop until they do that. So it's not surprising to see them coming in as practice and ready as they are. That being said, the shipyard circle that I was talking about yesterday was pretty wild. Let's see what we get here today and take.
Yeah, well, looking up towards Shipyard right now, we got Dots and Rezav getting a little bit close to each other. Looks like Dots is going to pull up a little bit short. Rezav going to go all the way to the Shipyard. This time, we're going to cut off to the west. We're going to have a river right in the middle of all of this. As we see, you look Tilt Town.
We got a hot drop over here.
You got Toyo.
We got a semi
and all very
hot drop over here.
Meanwhile, potentially dangerous, going for that 2-2 on both sides of the river near Palace and Fishing Camp. So keep an eye on them to see where when these rotations start to come in. And Airport actually getting a little bit of love here too, is God Squad and Fireflies on top of each other.
That should be an interesting. I mean, God Squad been looking really good so far. I can't deny it. They
sure
have.
have.
Though they haven't at all taken any breaks from PUBG, and kind of touching on Rezav, as you mentioned them earlier in that hot drop at the beginning of the game, I was really impressed with their positioning on the east side of that mountain, on top of that crater. The amount of damage they were able to do, they didn't really necessarily get too many kills, but that just looked good for me. As far as the team building confidence, holding your ground, that looked like Rezav was getting comfortable, kind of staying split as well, which is something you want to see in a lobby like this and teams that may not have the same pedigrees as some of the others.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of hope that you would get a little bit more out of that position, but they were down to 3 pretty early. And they, like you said, they were kind of they forced Wushu 2 and Potentially Dangerous into a fight that they maybe necessarily didn't want to have to take the way they took it. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to take that high ground position, that's the position that you take if you're going to get points, right? So you'd want to get a few more off of that, but we'll see. It was you are absolutely correct though. I think they played it as well as they could have hoped to, but hopefully that gives them a little bit more confidence pushing in here. As Dots is actually sending looks like 3 up to Shipyard, so maybe getting involved in a fight early with Ray's. So I'll have to keep an eye on that. Nick now getting a little bit close to Duel, but he is in vehicle, should be able to pull away fairly safely, I would think. Yeah. Oh, never mind.
Should. You say should. I thought so as well, but nope. Penta ain't having none of that.
No, sir.
Plucked out of that card, picked like a cherry, and now the rest of his team will be down to 3. And for the Outlaws, it's been rough. I mean, they've had some good engagements here or there, but I feel like realistically they just get caught on rotations or crashes. That's really where the problem has been for Outlaws.
There it is. What a headshot to a guy with no helmet does. You hate to see it. Well, Outlaws currently down there in 19th with 25 points. Again, all is not lost if they don't get top 8 here. There's still that last chance qualifier that's coming up. So nothing to be too terribly upset about just yet. But
yeah, I mean,
would like to see him come up with a little bit more.
Of course, and I think that's the issue sometimes for some teams, at least that I've seen in the past, is a lot of teams get a little more comfortable because they have that cushion, right? They're like, you know what, it's okay, we have the last chance, we'll go and qualify there. But that just can lead to even more dissenting like issues, whether it's confidence or things in last chance don't quite work out the way that you think. And yeah, like to your point, I think that teams should try to make the best of this rather than relying on the last chance qualifier.
No, absolutely. I mean, you don't get to the point where you just start screwing around, right? But you have that safety net for the time being, at least. Right. As we see Toyo kind of towards the center of the circle. Now we saw Dots. They were doing a bridge camp on that bridge on the western side of the Shipyard bridge. What we didn't see was that you got Razav that's inside Shipyard currently, but God Squad also making a wrap all the way up to the north as well. So we'll keep an eye on that bridge to the north because things could get hot and spicy. Shout out to the Dots Fragger. But for the most part, I think actually El Proyecto kind of looking over in that direction as well, as they are trying to make their way to a bridge, but Falcon's in a beautiful spot here, and they're going to chase him down. Kickstart, not wasting any time. Posts are going to get spotted as well as Falcon springs.
Oh, that was great.
Also, I love what I just saw from Toggleton, right? Instead of going for the headshot, going straight for the frag, in that position, he just went for the tires. There's so many opportunities I see where players just go for the kill rather than just guaranteeing the kill by just getting the vehicle out of commission, especially in an open field like that. So love that decision by Tig.
All right, Razav taking that E pickup, but it looks like God Squad has spotted them out. Will they get into a position to take shots at this? As I think Dots may be aware as well that they're taking that, so that might this actually kind of works out well for God Squad because it looks like they're not going to get camped on the bridge by Dots now either. So what was looking like it might be a spicy rotation turns into free and clear for everybody involved.
I knew I had to get him to go. Get them to go put their stuff up before he started going.
Toyo.
Hey!
Toyo is very split. My goodness. Fortunately, there's no one here to punish this, but they are taking up a lot of space here in this current circle, especially in the center of it. Closest team to them really is LG at this point. So Snakers now with a bead on a Capitan. And again, with no other teams around them, they're free to take this fight.
All right, so guys, how are y'all doing? What are y'all up to? What's everybody doing tonight?
One of that unenviable positions.
Sunday night. Got to work tomorrow. Don't have to work tomorrow. What do you got going on?
Obvious compound to kind of turtle up in. So they're doing the thing where they spread out and they try to keep eyes on everything around them and just try to control one particular area. But unfortunately, you're looking in all directions. So at some point, you're going to be taken by surprise. And right now, Luminosity has that angle, but fortunately Toyo going to survive for the time being. Meanwhile, Team Liquid are scouting out that bridge. They've got to make that cross to get to the other side of the river. Now, Duel has already sent it. It looks like K-Mind is going to continue on, but potentially Dangerous might be looking over there. And now actually Razav, that long E pickup, they haven't dropped yet. And they might be thinking about coming over towards this bridge as well. So, yep, and it looks like they will drop. They're going to go over towards Tilt Town's compound and potentially Dangerous. You see them in the air. You see the Tilt Town icons on the screen as well, as Razav in a lot of trouble. And Laucha will get spotted out by Savage with the P90. An instant knock and flush. Now one pushing. Oh no, you hate to see the push with the Panzer. Martin will get him. And we'll get the flush as well. Martin with that K2 will get 0 down to about half HP. But Martin all by himself here. Where's the rest of the squad? You see them on the map. It looks like they might be playing the outside walls. Tilt Town, after losing Savage, trying to figure out how they want to collapse on this. Keep in mind, potentially Dangerous saw this. Duel is off in the distance as well. You can see Pentalol on that mini map looking in that direction. Tilt Town using the walls. Will spot out. Beleda will go down to Doobie. Nice spray from him with that Groza. And now all of a sudden, Razav down to just 2.
Down to 1.
Fisher, nice trade comes through. But again, it's down to 1. He'll get another one, though. Pentalol, though, is going to get the knock from range as Duel has finally made their arrival and start to hear their guns sing. Trimble staying alive in that smoke cloud for the time being. They're going to try to reposition him, maybe go for the res as Martin has the shotgun in hand. He's got not much to work with here. You go, Doobie will finish him off, and Razav, the no good, very bad, terrible E pickup finally comes to a close.
Oh, that was a set of situations as we do get the new circle pop. Sorry, I figured I'd come in here and give you a hand for just a second. Looks like we're getting Godspeed back in just one moment. So a couple of rotations down to the south around Fishing Camp, but there's some bridges to work around. No firm bridge camp's going to be going on at the time, so just a bit of a migration.
Hey, my community's back. Welcome back, guys.
Positions in the center, and LG, who is a squad that we were talking about wanting to see some more points, Poro, in a pretty good spot.
Not too bad. Not too bad, but let's see. The best news so far really is for the teams that kind of stuck to the south side. Sam Crismo and Team Liquid are both going to get free passage across the river, so everybody makes it over to the north with very little to no problems. Meanwhile, Tilt Town and Duel, after winning that fight, Tilt Town now having to turn their attention back over towards Duel. Duel, though, being very careful. K-Mind will get spotted out by Doobie. The Groza will knock him out early. Doobie down to no health. 0 down to no health. But they stay alive for the time being. Doobie with 2 HP will win the duel with Wooly. Gets the knock, gets the flush. Penta and Lynxy, the last 2 left alive here for Duel, as the push has kind of fallen apart here for Duel.
And Doobie fragging. Let me tell you, that double was beautiful, even if it was with the Groza. But look at this Trimble now. My goodness. Just Groza squad all over the place here. Tilt Town. And that Panzer still in play as well. Penta has to be careful. And he does avoid it.
What ended up started off as a 4v3 is now turned into a 1v1 here. Trimble going to make sure that he secures those points. 7 kills for Tilt Town. They will get taken down by Pat Caps in the end as we cut over towards Team Liquid, who have now found potentially Dangerous as Gabriel will spot out Sparking and instantly gets the knock.
Tyler don't have the mischievous bones. He wants to. He tries, but he's too giggly.
Get a few shots sent over in his direction, but will remain alive. Pentalol now waiting for the inevitable push from God Squad, and he will spot out Pat Caps instantly. The action just non-stop here so far on Tego. Godspeed.
Yeah, I mean, this is just back-to-back fights. Penta now trying to stave off the push from an entire group. Pat will be safe, but my goodness. I mean, from one team to another, God Squad finally able to get rid of Duel. That unfortunate situation there. I mean, Penta tried his best, but ultimately, 1v4 in that situation is going to be very difficult.
Asking a lot, to say
you are asking a lot, even of Penta. That is a tall task.
Indeed, indeed. Especially as against a team as hot right now as the God Squad is. Well, we are 13 minutes in, and we are already down to 44 alive. It has been hot and heavy here on Tego to start things off. Well, Dots, they're also going to spot out Firefly. Or Firefly's making their way in from that eastern side. Gets them very low. Frost will survive for the time being, though. Dots will just hold up 4 deep in the compound on this eastern edge of the zone.
Yeah, just there's still multiple teams here trying. Again, the split coming from San
South?
Prismo is something that I am
Southeast?
enjoying watching. They seem to be playing
Yeah.
with confidence. It's a wide split, but it's not to the point where they can't necessarily cover each other. And now that the circle is posted, they can consolidate. So again, really great macro decisions.
Sam Crismo, we'll see how they play the rest of this one as we see the new circle has popped. And LG getting a little bit of love here for what feels like the first time in forever. 2-2 split with the compound and the high ground. God Squad drops down the E pickup, but it does not look like they have any intentions of taking it. And they're just going to go ahead and stick it out in their compound for the time being. I believe they popped that just for the just in case the circle hard shifted away, but they get a little love, so they'll stick around.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong also with
Hey.
just putting it down to get a bit of a delay in there, so that way other people can't be using emergency pickups on those pacings. So a lot of good movements coming out of that. And with that, God Squad has a lot of control over in the west, but it's going to be hard if they have to make a rotation. The duo for Team Liquid also has moved into a pretty strong dip close to them, so depending on how the following circles go, could be problematic. But luckily right now, there's not a lot of teams with directed eyes on where God Squad is.
The good thing for Team Liquid is I'm not sure if anybody knows exactly where they are, because that is mortar bait if ever I saw. But
True.
fortunately, they'll stay alive for the time being, it looks like, as we see a few crates in the air, potentially dangerous, still holding on to their compound. 55 has made it in, and it looks like everybody should have free passage in, with the exception of Dots. They have some decision making to do because it is a little bit stacked there in the northeast.
Yeah, I mean, you can go down to Sam Crismo, but then that's going to be its own problem with the revealed angle that you're going to have to deal with. Toyo up on a higher ground position that you're going to be maneuvering into. Not a lot of good ways to handle it. Even if you go down to the south, you're going to have to deal with Falcons. A northern wrap through Godok might be the best option, but really, who wants to drive through a city at this stage? So I wouldn't be surprised if they just try to bully their way, and does look like that's what's going to happen. They're just going to grab vehicle, cut in, try to get inside the circle itself. There is a bit of a dip that they can kind of play over here, but man, you don't really want to do it, especially against a lot of these different maneuvers that these teams can do. They have put themselves in a spot for safety for the time being, but they do also have a couple of friends, as I believe Falcon saw what was going on with Sam Crismo, took some shots at them, so therefore Dot's rotation was a lot freer than it could have been.
Yeah, Dots getting basically the edge of the zone, and they're just going to try to start working around, see what they can find here. See Falcons taking those shots, as you mentioned, at Sam Crismo from the backside. Sam Crismo hopping in vehicles, trying to reposition here just a little bit. Falcons don't look like they're too terribly interested in trying to fully commit to getting these kills, but they will. Yeah, they don't have to.
There's three of them there.
Exactly.
And then look at Kickstart over there on a mortar. He had his eyes kind of trying to see if maybe you can drop something into this, but looks like he decided to step off it for the time being. The firing lines from Falcon's going to be pretty good, and here comes a collapse. Pinch on the other side. Dot's now starting to maneuver into Sam Crismo's positioning, and now it's just going to be about trying to regroup. New circle has popped, and this is all going right on the edge of it.
I love this from Dots, though. They knew that they were in a bad position. They knew they had one option available to them, and that was going to be doing the death ball roll around the edge of the zone. And right now it's paying off as Kickstart will get the flush on the nick with that mortar.
I love it.
On to DNL as well, as that mortar is just finding the mark right now. Lopes, the last one left alive here for Sam Crismo, as Dots just kind of turning their attention over. Look, Koyo sent Capitan, but sent no one else. So Capitan has to be very, very careful about how aggressive he plays here.
Falcons, the coordination on that, there is no world in which I think that Kickstart even has a visual line on what's happening in that position. That is just all information being fed over from teammates. As now it's going to be Liquid that's in some trouble. 55 just trying to come into this, but there's nowhere to go. The Molotov slows it down just enough. It's going to be some outside assistance. As Kurt now runs out, he's going to end up in the Molotov. Looks like he's going to try to get the med off. Should be fine. But back over in this firefight with Dots and Toyo, you can see it's all going to start picking up. Toyo's now moving down from the north. Dots finding themselves in a bad position, but at least Crismo now has a moment to where they can kind of get an idea on what's going on around them.
Yeah, Dots and Toyo, that's the big fight for the time being. And you see Dots already have lost 2 here. Toyo doing a pretty good job of just getting the angles here. Almost gets Shane Doe as well. But that grenade going to fall a little bit short, so they still managed to keep 2 up here. Capitan with that low ground. Toyo need to hurry up about this. They can't take their time because eventually there's going to be a third party here. As you see, EL and Fireflies off in the north side are engaging in a fight. Whoever wins that one is going to get involved in this. And now Hot and Spicy, the last one up, is Bizzler as an angle.
This is just brutal. I mean, LG's got the position on the opposing side of the hill, so everybody's having to play on the same side of the hill and just being funneled into each other. Toyo making the aggressive moves for the time being, but Falcons has already shifted into this as well. Dots, no options, just getting sandwiched in between them, but finally Falcons get some vision on what's going on with Toyo, and bullets are being exchanged.
Yeah, Falcons really kind of reading that correctly, waiting for the perfect time to come over here in third party, fourth party. Hot and Spicy, the last player left alive for Dots. Lopes still alive for Sam Crismo, and it looks like Toyo is going to pull back off to the north. So those solo players should survive a little bit longer unless H-Win or Shrimsy gets vision on them. And Falcons, they're not going to spot them through the woods, it looks like. Pippa going to be the one to hold point here. There you go. Shrimsy will spot out Lopes, and Capitan will spot out Hot and Spicy. So no more snakes in the grass on the northeastern side, Matt. Everybody down here, down to 29 alive, though.
Yeah, I mean, this has been pretty brutal. Falcons now have some hillsides to play. LG going to be in compound just down below them. Toyo slowly stretching over there into the north. Means that now it's going to be El Proyecto that gets some vision in on them. And also God Squad. And we know God Squad, these guys love to scrap. So that's going to be 2 squads converging on them roughly the same time.
And LG getting that circle luck here this time. They've got the compound in the zone. They got Falcons on their eastern side here. They've got to be careful. They can't. The problem here, you look at LG's compound, it's in the middle of a big bowl. So there's so much high ground around them. They can't really afford to play around or flex out from that compound the way you'd normally like to in the late game to get kills. They have to kind of turtle up and just be comfortable trying to go for that win at the end.
It's a great mid-game compound, but as this just gets more and more clustered, it's going to get more hard to hold. Every peak is going to get punished. Proyecto trying to defend up against the push coming up from God Squad. So with those shots, now it's going to be potentially dangerous, being a potential third party in this firefight. Actually, a fourth party, if you think about it, because Toyo already stepping in right back behind El Proyecto as well. It's just that this area has a lot of dips inside of it. You can see it's recessed down the
arms in
so
play.
There's a lot of little cubbies that all of these squads can kind of hold out in.
Shin boy.
They're all stacked up on top of each other in very dangerous positioning.
My favorite sound in the game, that silenced Alm in the hands of Shinboy, is going to fall just a little short that time. But the smoke walls for El Proyecto, keeping them alive. You can see that one hit, though. As everybody hears that, and they are just dropping smokes left and right. They don't want to fall under the sights. As another mortar knock comes through from Falcons, they are raining death and terror from the sky. Shock and awe is the campaign laid out.
Kill.
Of course
He's
did.
still inside that shack, and there's a lot of people coming up after him. So pick up the kills that you can get. But God Squad doing a good job on defending for the time being with the help. What's going to be going on around them? Toyo making the push right down onto the firefight just to the northeast of this. And so Proyecto trying to defend that up. That means God Squad can kind of focus in on this angle. Toyo has to be careful with the way that these hills are lined in and the mortar's coming down. Every single peak is absolutely precarious. So Haven's going to take some damage. He has to step away. And here we go. Emmy trying to chase in after him, but he doesn't want to overextend. Just using the tree in between them. Does get some shots. It does get the knock as well.
Oh, I'd love to see him play that low side. And there you go. He's going to go back towards it. They know where that rock is. They know that there's another one waiting for him. You got to be careful about how they push this. They've got that rock breaking the sight
That's
line
crazy.
between themselves and God Squad, where they know that there's a Lynx and an Alm on the field. They've got to be careful about how they do this, but they want to get done quickly because the blue zone has arrived, and there you go. They will finish them off as Outlaws down to 9-1, and Curry staying alive.
This was a big mess down here to the south, and it's going to be the Outlaws that are going to be limping out of it. God Squad still having to deal with potentially dangerous, That's right. It's been going on for quite a while, but Toyo is going to be creeping up right back behind them. And God Squad, I don't even know if they know. With the nades now landing right up on top of them, their focus has been very much on the south, and the north is just going to be on sharp shot. He has spotted him out. He's taken a couple of shots, but now firmly sandwiched. God Squad, you're just going to have to fight your way out of it, and it's a squad that definitely can do that.
This could work out great for Toyo if they strike at the right time here. Potentially dangerous. They're using that mini. Gabriel's going to find some big damage, but won't get the knocks just yet. He's got them next to dead. But Gabriel, it's not even a deployable cover. He's just using the crate that fell from the sky. Now, Toyo, that's what we were waiting for. The push finally arrives. And now God Squad is left down to Shinboy and his 6 HP remaining.
They have been putting out so much damage, but near on no kills. So God Squad is going to get eliminated. Toyo should be able to get their res as well. Falcons hear this. They're doing a big shift right back into the position that Toyo was just at. That is so smart.
Yeah, no, they picked that perfect time for that as the circle popped off to the north. They saw that their high ground on the south side was no longer available. They see the kill feed is popping off, so they know what's going on up here to the north. And Snaker's now actually going to open up a door here. Pippo was the only one that was really in a position to gatekeep Falcons at all. 7 kills so far now for Falcons, but they have to avoid LG's line of sight. Toyo, meanwhile, they're going to continue their reign of terror. 10 kills now for them, but they've got to get Emmy back on his feet, but he is bleeding out so fast. He is gone. It's going to be down to just 2.
Kurt hops in a vehicle in distance, does manage to make it back in the circle, so we'll have to see if Toyo heard anything about that. The bigger problem is going to be the Falcons that are swooping in back behind Toyo. Toyo's been on an absolute tear, racking up kill after kill, but now they're having to deal with a very strong Falcons who has been taking out so much of teams at range and forcing firefights. They've just been kind of corralling everybody exactly where they want, picking them apart, and a big factor in that has been Shrimzy, who is sitting at 6 kills at the time, and they want more. Toyo is bleeding, and the Sharks are coming.
And not only that, Falcons just got a big infusion of loot as they came over here. They found so many crates, found so many loot boxes that they could re-up off of. You could see Shrimzy was on hardly any ammunition left, and he was able to pick up a bunch there off of somebody. Snaker's been sent to that cliffside here from LG. They send him to center circle, and actually he's going to be joined as well by 2 more. Vox now, the last one remaining in that compound. Nobody knows about Kurt. Kurt playing it so sneaky for the time being. Snaker's just kind of looking around at the angle. LG might be the only one, the only team that has an idea that Kurt would be over here.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how much they're paying attention to it. I think that they probably saw him hop in a vehicle. I don't know the exact angle of vision from their compound that they were just at, but LG, they've got the prime position right now. They've shifted into a strong point, but Falcons has the capabilities to make something counter push around it, most notably due to Kickstart's positioning pretty far back. He's kind of watching the trench, making sure that nobody creeps up back behind them, so he should have some type of idea what's going to be going on. Even Shrimzy is going to be playing just to the south of the other duo, so there should have a pretty decent set of control over there. I love the fact that Falcons, who were coming in here full gusto, they wanted kills, but they realized, no, we don't want to overextend this. Instead, let's start playing a bit more controlled. Let's lean back. We've got a ton of information to play from, but LG, they're just going to try to brute force it, and they do. Snakers gets the knock on to Shrimzy.
Big opening knock there for LG. And that's actually great news for Toyo as well. This is the best possible news for Toyo, is these 2 4-man squads duking it out here as Kickstar gets knocked very low. Nice spray comes through, gets knocked very low by the grenade follow-up. And each one going to go for the res immediately here onto Shrimzy while the utility continues to be sent in from LG. They don't want to commit to the full push over that ridge line just yet. They don't know what's waiting for them on the other side.
Toyo is just playing full defense right now. Kurt has kind of creeped into the circle using the opportunity. The moment he heard that firefight, he just kind of snuck his way into the circle. He's now kind of recessed on the other side of the hill. Falcons took the time, did reset. So with that exchange, we've kind of shifted back to where we were at the start of the circle. Everybody's back into kind of their core positioning. Nothing really too bad has happened yet. LG still has control over a lot of the circle. And let's not forget, they still have Vox that's back in that compound and making sure that anybody that crests any part of that hillside is going to be instantly seen, and the rest of Luminosity can pounce.
Yeah, that's an interesting small battle that's happening in the middle of this war. Is Vox and Kickstart just kind of trading in a peak battle between each other? The problem for Vox is that he's outside of zone right now, and he's got to make a move. and leave, and he's going to do so now. And fortunately for him, it looks like he's going to get it just in time, so he won't take that knock, and they'll keep 4 alive here for LG.
That shift perfectly timed to come in with LG. So reinforcements now regrouped, but Falcons now know that they don't have to worry about that hillside angle as much. They're still very nervous about Toyo. They know where Toyo is. They know that they could be backstabbed at any given moment if LG chooses to aggress again. So instead, Falcons feel like maybe the better option is instead take out the weakened squad in Toyo, then shift their attention over into what's going to be going on with LG. But they know that is so dangerous. If that fight for Toyo isn't instantaneous, LG will just jump on them and start picking them apart on that side flank. But the big question is, we know Kurt will make a play in this at some point. He will try to go for a kill if it presents itself, and that could be an unexpected X factor at any moment.
Toyo's still got a little bit of a ridge line that they can play around here with this new zone pop, but they are going to have to get on the move. I see Kickstar kind of looking over in that direction, waiting for any heads to pop up. Falcons would love to be able to take out Toyo, as you said, but they got to do it quickly. They can't risk taking a knock by getting too aggressive here and over peaking. So they're just going to wait for Toyo to make the mistake. They've got a foothold inside this zone, as do LG. So really, it's just it's up to what's going to happen here between the solo of Purdy Curdy and the duo from Toyo, Capitan and Benya.
Yeah, there's the duo that's kind of lined up for Falcons as well, waiting for Toyo to have to move into the circle. They have an idea on which dip is being played. So it's kind of a game of chicken right now. Luminosity trying to hope that Falcons will be the one to aggress into Toyo, and they know that they're going to have to. Falcons know that this is coming. Nade's now starting to come out. Tig's got some vision on. Snakers does get a nice tap into it to kind of start all of this off, but that is going to pump the brakes on a lot of what LG wants to do. Toyo also kind of stalls out. They don't want to move forward anymore because they know that that gun could instantly spin back onto them.
Yeah, broke the vest too on Snakers. He's going to have to be careful about how he goes about peeking from now on. Toyo still have the grenades in hand. Capitan tried to make a peek, but gets spotted out. It looks like Kickstart actually spotted out Purdy Curdy from range, but has to pull back around because the grenade and utility from Toyo. Good on them for holding on to that utility here until this later game part. You can see LG started to make some moves up towards the north to take away real estate from Falcons, but immediately Falcons sent Tig and Kickstart back up there, so LG forced back down again. And look at that, Capitan has that Panzerfaust in hand. That could be huge here in the late game.
So we'll have to see the lines come in. Shrimsy unloads, starts getting some damage. Benny goes down. Capitan, what are you going to do? You're now caught out, but LG doesn't want to crest the hillside. They're a bit afraid of that Lynx in the high ground positioning.
Capitan gets spotted, but not going to get taken down. This Purdy Curdy just hiding out in the smoke. I don't think that was his smoke. I think that's just smoke that was laid down maybe by somebody else. And Kurt could pull off a miracle here. I would love to see it. Tiggleton still holding that backside angle onto Snakers. Gets him low, but doesn't get the knock. Gets knocked low in a return himself as Purdy Curdy sneaking through the smoke. Benya might actually have figured it out here, but Fox going to go down to his own grenade after he gets knocked by Kickstart. So 3 now up for LG, and that's going to open up a door here for Falcons.
Okay, so quick exchanges go down. It is going to be Team Liquid finally eliminated. LG now being much more aggressive in this one. Spots out Capitan, manages to get the elimination all into him. So Falcons up on top of the high ground as everything's starting to close in. We're at about, I guess, what, halfway point for where we're going to be ending up in that center dot that is going to be very contested.
Oh, man, you hate to see that for Vox. Gets knocked, and he has the grenade in hand. That's what's going to be what wipes him as Falcons slowly close their grip onto LG. They have this high ground, but LG has some hard cover to play around. Snakers through the smoke. It's knocked low again. Won't go down. So LG just proving to be tough to take out.
It's all of the fights around smoke, cover. They're just bouncing between each one. Falcons can't get the read in that they want. They don't have the angles really both squads just kind of lined in against each other right now, just looking for the opportunity. With a lower man count, LG is in the negative position, specifically on the hillside. Takes a ton of damage, has to step away from it, but it is going to be Kickstart that gets the knock on to Gats. That means that this is heavily outnumbered at this stage. Falcons still just kind of spraying into smoke, hoping that they can connect onto something. They don't have the best of idea on where the last member is, and that is going to be a big shot coming up from Bizzler, but he goes down as well. Snaker steps out, and there you go. Falcons pick it up with what should be 13 kills.
13 kills, 2 straight wins
for the Falcons, and 124 points in 9 games. These guys have come in running on all cylinders.
Man,
insane.
Okay, this is just so cleanly played on so many different points. Understanding the control and angle
Boys are fragging
that you have to play around with your weaponry, making sure to use the high ground so well. Just overall cleanly played.
I'm sorry, 61 points for Team Liquid. They are right on the cusp. With 3 games remaining, they got Zvire that's watching the stream and hoping and praying that that all of the things will fall apart for Team Liquid, but it's not looking too hot for them right now. Zvire might be the last team from the other group to not make it in or to get knocked out, but we'll see. We'll see. Who am I casting this game with, by the way?
It's me.
Hey, it's a me. Well, we are going over to Rondo.
For now.
For now.
For as long as.
Hey, I'll keep you as long as I can keep you, my man. But okay, Team Falcons 2 in a row. Can they make it 3? They look kind of unstoppable right now. But most of that is having to do with the fact that they're just not having to deal with any of the BS that happens in the first half of the game.
Well, no, they're also staying clear of it, right? Again, there's no need for them to take any early engagements, and even if they do, I feel like once teams
what's the
realize
test
who they're
track?
fighting, this is kind
Circle's
of
going to test track. It's going to be
are probably more
Yeah,
inclined to
what it
just
is.
back off. And the other thing is just the way
this
that
circle,
Falcons
this
control their
map
side of the zone, their
loves
portion, their
test
quadrant,
track.
whatever you want to call it, is just second.
Loves this area right
that's
here.
causing a lot of issues for teams as well.
No, absolutely.
All
And
that
they
shit,
get
didn't
test
they?
track for free, and they also get the zone to start things off here. After a great game in game number 1, El Proyecto kind of fallen off a little bit, but they are sitting pretty comfortably in 5th place overall with 78 points. LG now up to 76, rather. God Squad with 69. Nice. And Team Liquid right on the cusp, and they've got Wushu 2 and Sam Crismo that are right on their backs as well. But Toyo and Potentially Dangerous have shown some things here today as well, so we can't count them completely out just yet.
No, and Toyo has been showing some signs of life at the very least today. They've had much better games, at least, than they've had overall yesterday. I know there was some disappointment with them as far as just overall performance and what we expect from that squad. But overall, I think today is a much better day for them. El Proyecto, meanwhile, is, I mean, man, they've just looked solid. They've looked so good today. Again, that first game for me was just almost perfectly played.
Yeah. Yeah, since then, though, it's kind of been the opposite of Falcons, where it seems like they're getting involved in some of the nonsense early on and losing a player or two, and then having to play the second half of the game with only two guys up. So maybe this time around on Rondo, they'll keep all 4 alive, and we'll see what they can put together towards the end. Will they have a good center circle starting position here? Can play pretty much whatever they want without getting too close to test track, where Falcons have the entirety of the thing to themselves. So they're going to be looking pretty nice coming out of this.
Just wish we could get some variants. Test track yesterday, test track today. It's just so test track.
Yeah.
It's just called this map test track sometimes. But I mean, looking at the north side of the circle, you do see Tiltown up there towards the quote unquote Miramar portion of the map. There's actually quite a lot of teams if you look Poro, on the north and northeast side of the map.
Duel really hugging that eastern edge, that northeastern edge, really, and very split too. So we'll see how they decide to come back together to get across the river, because they've got Razav, they've got God Squad, and they've got LG kind of in between them. As we check in with Team Liquid after looting up in Stadium, they're going to send it a little bit more towards the center here, and we'll see where they decide to go. No emergency pickups in play just yet, so nobody going for those high ground spires to stare down on everybody around them. Meanwhile, LG, Snakers, you got this. Come on, put it in 4x4. You got it. Look at that. My man.
There we go. Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Absolutely nailed it, as they are, I mean, they're coming into the center of the circle. There are some nice ridges, at least. There's a nice mountaintop they can play from, but those are also kind of dangerous because there is the opportunity for you to get flanked from 360 degrees, right? There's just one pinnacle point and a lot of terrain to play around it. We'll see how they fare because God Squad is rotating right above them, literally right above them.
Yeah, it looks like LG may be pumping the brakes a little bit. Snakers stopped down to scout out where their next spot was going to be, and it looks like he may have spotted out God Squad, so LG going to pull away from that wrap here. Wuju 2, meanwhile, way off in the west. They are all by themselves, but that southwestern part of the zone is starting to get a little bit packed as well, as you've got some Crismo and Fireflies getting a little bit close to each other. Potentially Dangerous has already made their way in. God Squad, they're looking down on Tilt Town here. Tilt Town not completely here just yet. They've still got Doobie and Trimble off to the north, but God Squad fully present and available. Sharp Shot will spot out Savage, gets the knock there, has to pull back down. Here's Zero trying to make the push. Nice flashbang, and that is beautifully done by Sharp Shot.
That flash was a thing of beauty. The issue, though, is that LG has heard these shots, and they could be coming behind to go for a third party, but it looks like the distance is going to be too great. God Squad's going to get away with 2 kills for free. Very well played from Sharp Shot.
Just like that. And here we have the other fight that was taking place. Sam Crismo and Fireflies have traded out. I mean, it looks like Sam Crismo trying to lay down that smoke wall to go and res their fallen teammate in Sam Crow, but Nick going to get taken low here by some nice shots. Good grenade. Is that going to be enough? No, not close enough to get the knock on to get the flush onto Frost. So Fireflies back up to full strength, and they've got Nick and DNL pinned down as the utility going to keep coming in, but it's just not going to fall where it needs to.
Not at all. And Firefly still just trying to hold off this push, trying to survive. The deployable cover backwards kind of has me.
Oh, you feeling some type
just
of
a
way?
nice little spot for, yeah, just feeling some type of way. But either way, they are holding off the push for now. Again, they got the knock onto Sam Crow. That was huge, but now another knock from behind. It's Wuju2 now that's entering the fight, so those deployable covers will make a perfect triangle and the perfect cover for that res, hopefully.
That's the thing that sucks. When you're playing on these edges, you never know where that third party's going to come from, and somehow saving Private Sam Crow is working out as DNL does manage to get to him, but you see Wuju2 making that wrap in the background. And good sprays down for Fireflies will force them to continue on here, but Fakes in and LFP both still have angles. Nick is going to get spotted out by LFP, and he is in no man's land. Most likely not going to get rezzed here. And now it's just, I mean, you feel like Wuju2 has just got perfect position here to eat this.
Yeah, and I love the reposition from Wuju2 as well. They wrapped around, as you were stating, to get a better angle, and now they're just in the best position to feast on these two teams, get rid of them, and then continue to move into the circle. Because as you stated, this is happening right on the edge. So they're in. They are the circle. They are the benchmark for these teams to try to reach. And I just don't think they're going to be able to do it. The control is too strong.
Yeah, Fireflies.
How's it going today on
Lopez gonna try to
Jake from State Farm? That's funny on TikTok. That's hilarious.
Actually get away. It looks like he will. But Wuju2 will pick off Nick. Sam Crow at least is going to go.
All right, guys, welcome in. We're if you're new here, we are watching the PUBG America Series, America's Series, Day 3.
And control over the southwestern side.
The Falcons are completely dominating the event. 124 points in.
Think I may have lost Godspeed again. Well,
see.
LG, after hearing the shots from God Squad,
9 games,
Sharp Shot a little bit earlier,
124 points. Really they are absolutely dominating the event. So
that God Squad is above them. They can play like that for the time being. They've got a good.
If you like the content, just go ahead and go ahead and give me a thumbs up or say something in the chat. I'd like to go on YouTube, like, subscribe. If you like the video, more action, subscribe is free. There's no charge for subscribing on YouTube. So
could use
Might as well do it. You know, don't hold on to it. If you're on Twitch, hi there, welcome.
They are within shouting range of
My
that
Twitch
cut
family
line.
knows who we are.
They need to have some production here in this game.
My TikTok family is growing. It's not there yet. I need to get more viewers on TikTok. I need to get more viewers on YouTube.
Falcon's going to be in control over that. Dual maneuvering up to the northeast of it. LG just to the north of Test Track itself. So with this,
normally I'm playing games. Today I'm just watching games because
led to a lot of kind of dust ups around.
it's kind of a PUBG event. I want to watch the PUBG events.
A lot of 2-2 splits going on here. El Proyecto
You know, I'm gonna watch the PUBG events. I might as well watch it while I'm live. Kind of get my live reaction to it. See how it goes.
Just off to their west.
Where's the circle going? To the west, to the east.
Really favoring the
Listen, go to the east, right over top of Test Track.
At this point.
Yep.
Neox Factory is Test Track is just a magnet.
This is a stupid circle.
This
map and the circle locations are the worst. Guardian, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for the alert, my guy.
That's exactly what we can see it's going on right now. With the control splits going out, it does mean the fact that down in Southwest.
Hope you're doing good. Hope your family's well.
Toyo does manage to get by Wuju too, so they're going to have a pathing into potentially that lower area of Test Track if they choose to be that brazen with it. They do have potentially dangerous that's over their west that might take a couple of shots, but nothing too scary yet. With the way it's set up, Falcons are kind of playing a bit more to the south. Tiltown, though, making a rotation. They've got to be pretty close. They've got God Squad right up on top of them. Spray is going to come out, and there is nowhere to go. Trimble's going to go down.
Yeah, Tiltown in a lot of trouble here. Down to just Doobie, as Packhouse will take the spray, but we will survive just a little bit longer. But where do you even go at this point? You're looking at the north side of Test Track. You don't want to go all the way down into that, but LG is perfectly set up just on the other side. We'll see if Doobie just continues to go as far as he can until he finds a spot where he's not being shot at, and all of a sudden that seems really good. But Lopez has managed to make his way into Test Track itself. Oh, there you go. Doobie will get spotted out by Vox. So Tiltown will go down in 15th place.
Meanwhile, you can see the Test Track is getting a bit spicier as we do have Sim Crismo.
Test Track getting spicy.
Just kind of stretching out and seeing what he can spot out over here for the time being. Doesn't like too much of that. Doesn't want to get too close. Instead, going to try to use Falcons. A little bit of control. Maybe get some cover up into the north of it. Toyo is also recollecting just to the west of this position. Duel did creep in back behind this, so they're in Neox Factory north. So not a lot of real contention that's going to be going on over there. The next potential brew that we've got could be around Bamboo and up to the north, where we have about 3 different squads. Most notably, it's going to be Outlaws and Dots, pretty close to each other, and the split Team Liquid that is trying to hold down Bamboo and the compound across the road down to the southwest.
Ah, Lord of mercy.
That Team Liquid split, it's very wide, and it's not one that they can easily protect each other from. So if anybody decides to crash into Bamboo, they could be in a little bit of trouble, but it doesn't look like anybody's even considering that at the time being, as they're continuing to take shots there. Yeah, Sparking just peacocking a little bit, letting everybody know exactly where they are. But keep an eye on Nick here. He's going for a little bit of a flanky.
Well, I mean, with the way it's set up, Team Liquid does have a lot of information, at least on this angle, how rotations can come in. So that does mean that the duo of Sparking and Luke really just have to control up into their north. The problem with it is that's where everybody is right now. That's where the contention point's going to be at. So that puts a lot of pressure onto that duo to really hold it together. El Proyecto also should have some vision on a rotate if this southern duo does need to regroup with Liquid. That could be very problematic as Proyecto has been on some shots today.
Yeah, they've been doing a really good job of mostly, I mean, not even just shooting, just controlling the zone and controlling their area around them. And that's what they're in a perfect position to do right now. Ooh. As we see the mortars starting to come in, maybe a little bit early for Toyo to send it to those wide open field spots. As you can see, it is just raining down, but it looks like the rain has ended for the time being.
Drop them.
So maybe they are safe
drizzle.
for a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit. But
just move it to the left a little bit and just drop it again.
You worry about holding on to it later once there's more mortars in play.
New circle pops, still keeps Test Track in, but does lean into the southwest. That does mean that Wuju's 2-2 split's going to be
pretty strong. What the hell did you shoot at?
Does also mean that
that was quick as hell.
No longer in the circle. So already inside of vehicles, they were prepped for that. Go ahead and start making a rotation. But we do have where it's going to be set up with Outlaws that are going to be having to deal with it.
God, this circle's so garbage, man.
Them, so they have to be very cautious on that. Spray's going to be coming out.
This map is so garbage with these
That's not just a rush at the time. So with a bit of, I mean, it just kind of have to tense up a bit. The bullets were close, but not scary enough. My question is, where is Liquid even going to go, Poro?
Yeah, this is tough, man. This is the you get another mid-game hard shift away, and Liquid just trying to find some place to come in. Duel doing the same thing, coming from the southeastern side, so they might actually have a little bit of a better path in here. But Wushu 2, they had a 2-2 split between the south side of Test Track and then a compound on that southwestern side. If Team Liquid spots them leaving, they could go ahead and send it, but I think Duel might have spotted it as well. So this could be a couple of teams going for the same compound at the same time. We'll have to keep eyes.
Yeah, Wooly is scouting it out right now. Looks like he's just going to go for the hillside that's going to be south of where Wuju 2 is playing. So Duel's just going to recollect over there. Team Liquid does manage to recollect pretty safe. El Proyecto going to have a couple of visitors pretty close, most notably Outlaws. They're going to be to the northwest of them. And it's going to be God Squad on the other side over into the northeast. LG, as well as we can see, it's going to be RYZV, all going to be having to make moves. Dots is going to be coming in way more aggressive. They're hopping inside of vehicles and just kind of sending it right through the thick of it, and that means it's going to be right all over God Squad and also on top of LG, even if they manage to make it past this.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about, I don't know where Team Liquid's going. I don't know where Dots is going. I think they might be trying to send it for the spot that Toyo is in right now, but they had to make a move. They had to pass by that compound. There was just no other option, and somehow they've managed to keep all 4 players alive for the time being, and it looks like they may be currently safe. Outlaw is kind of doing the same thing as Toyo is just not able to find the angles.
I like Falcons on top of this bridge.
Kickstart has that high ground here. He's gonna have to be careful, because if he gets knocked, he is gonna get
he gets knocked, he's dead.
Just like that.
All right, drop down the belly, smoke's coming out. Not much else you can do in that position. I like the aggression coming out from Falcons to shift away from it and at least try to get some control, but it is going to be Kickstart going down. Dots just going to be sending it down on top of Toyo.
Super aggressive from Kickstart. Now they're going to be in trouble trying to get that res, but Capitan right on the doorstep here of Toyo. Nicely placed grenade will get 2. Shando now the last player left alive. No, there's one more alive somewhere. I'm not sure where. As Capitan trying to get the flush through the smokes. And Dots now hot and spicy, I think, is the last one, and LG is just circling like a bunch of hungry lions.
Hungry lions.
Sharp Shot will be the one that gets credit for that one.
Okay, new circle now has popped.
Wooly
it's just going to be
still
the
flies
west
around
in that open area. So it means that Toyo's going to get a new set of friends, and they have to be careful. It's going to be LG that's moving right up on top of him. Toyo's still trying to thin. Pippa takes a ton of damage, and Emmy goes down.
Oh my goodness, Toyo holding the line here though. Capitan, the last player left alive. Pippa does go down, and LG will get the flush there. But can they get their 2 knocked players back on their feet? El Proyecto has an angle, and they will flush out Gats. Vox might be savable here, as Kickstart did get revived. So they are back up to full strength, and Falcons now has Rezav pinned to the wall.
Do you know the fact
he
that
did the other night?
did manage to get the res on the down membrane Kickstart?
I'll
that was
talk him
playing in
into
that
it.
high ground position. So, we'll have to see how this is going. Nade's going to be very close range, getting dropped right up on top of him. So, what do you even do to try to crest that hillside? So many angles of control and nowhere to go other than directly into Falcons.
Yeah, Rezav just staying alive by the grace of the smokes at this point. A lot of utility being sent over by Falcons. They've left Shrimsy on that high ground spot where Kickstart got knocked from as the push comes through. But now that the blue zone has arrived, they're going to pull back around. They'll let Shrimsy be on guard duty from here on out. Meanwhile, LG gets 3 men back on their feet. Nice spray from Vox. We'll find Pat Caps, and God Squad in a little bit of a spot of bother here, as
They're in a pickle.
LG still has plenty of utility. And oh no, the exploding vehicle from Balefrost from the grave will find the knock onto Snakers.
Falcons moved out of Test Track, looking down the hillside. They've got nobody back behind him except for one member, Rezav. So now they get to start asserting a lot more control in the circle. That positioning that LG fought so hard to get, they just have to kind of drop down to their bellies. Not too much more they can do. While this is going on, a couple of different shifts in positioning. Duel is now getting control over the south, but Team Liquid, with their regroup, also going to be playing in a very strong position to the south as well. Wuju 2 did move into Test Track. A bit of it is still inside the circle, but not the part that they're controlling at the time. It's going to be more of that open area, no buildings, just kind of a couple of pieces of cover that you can play around, so they probably won't stay there. But they don't have a lot of options. With Duel playing just to the southwest of them, so many different angles that they can play from, and you can see Duel realizes that, spreading out, getting a lot of information, moving all the way up just next to Team Liquid even.
Yeah, I'll worry a little bit about this split from Duel. Now they know that Wuju 2 is inside that test track facility. Like they saw them make that rotation in. So I can see having one person keep an eye towards the west to make sure that nobody comes and wraps on you from that side. But all eyes should kind of be pointing over here towards test track and just kind of making sure that they take advantage of Wuju 2 when they come out so they don't get snuck up on. But it looks like they'll be okay for the time being. New circle does pop, and it's going to donut right in the middle as Razav will get finished off by Tiggleton. So Falcons still 4 strong, playing out of test track. But now where do they go from here? They've got a nice little ridge line and hillside to work there.
I'm more drawn to what's going to be going on to the west, where we can see El Proyecto coming up to the north. Outlaws right on the edge of the zone, but I mean, potentially dangerous as well as 55. Neither one can really move cleanly because they've got vision on each other, and they have to get to the circle. So this is just going to be a take a couple of shots, move kind of situation, or a full send. There's not much else that they can do, and that is going to be just brutal because there are already 2 squads pretty much inside the circle.
LG taking another knock there as Falcons had the angle. Potentially dangerous, finally starting to get on the move there. Firmly focused in on 55 right now, though. So 55 in a little bit of trouble as they hop in vehicles, start to make the move. They're going to be pushing right into where Outlaws and El Proyecto are. Outlaws, they are on the clock. They'll find one, but instantly get knocked. 9-1 going to go down as well. Nick, the last player alive, he'll at least get one knock here and the flush. Get another point for him. Goes for the reload, and Baki uses that as the time to strike. And now El Proyecto, they hear all this. They see all this. They would love to be able to come across this road, but they can't. They're getting shot at from Falcons.
Yeah, but potentially dangerous. They've got that hillside. They've got a bit of cover. So Proyecto trying to defend in. They've got a couple of members at a bit more range trying to kind of defend that area up. Duel has to make a move now. It looks like they're going to be trying to move next to Team Liquid, see if they can usurp a position just to the west of them. That's going to deny a new angle of approach for potentially dangerous, pretty much forcing potentially dangerous into this line. So 55 doing their best to try to reset. You can see cover coming down, not a lot of clean angles to play from. They're just having to run. Can they even get the res onto Trisk? It is so dangerous. It's potentially dangerous having that high ground.
Yeah, I'm actually amazed that potentially dangerous was able to get reset as well as they have been so far. Trisk might be able to get back on his feet as well as potentially dangerous has pulled back away. I'm sorry, 55 getting the reset. But PD, yeah, pulling their attention back towards the south because they've got Duel out in the middle of nowhere as Luke will get the knock onto Linksy.
Yeah.
Too. Oh no, that's not the right time to do that. And there you go. Sacrismo will get eliminated. And Falcons, I mean, Falcons is just laughing at this point, right? Like everybody is just avoiding everything from them. And I don't think I've seen somebody take a shot at them in like 3 games.
Well, I mean, they've got that hillside cover and nobody has clean vision on it. Instead, it's all just down to the south. Potentially dangerous realize that. They don't want to deal with the angles lined up from Falcons, from El Proyecto. Instead, they're looking down into what's going to be going on with Duel and Liquid. Liquid was trying to step forward, but it was so poorly timed. Not due to lack of information or anything else like it. It's just one of those things. You shift in, you think that you have the moment, and it's at the exact same time that potentially dangerous and Wuju 2 just kind of stepped in.
Just so many fights going on right now because they have to, essentially, because Falcons and Wuju 2 are just dictating everything that's happening around them. So the Duel having to take this fight with PD. It's Slabby all by himself, down to 18 HP. At least he has some hard cover and a nicely placed grenade. Linksy, I believe Linksy and Penta still up here for Duel. And Purdy and Alo still up for Liquid, but it looks like Liquid has managed to find at least a little bit of safety as Linksy will get taken down by Gabriel. And Penta will trade it back.
But look at Slabby on this flank. He's shifting into Duel's position. There's so much going on with potentially dangerous and Team Liquid. Penta hasn't even glanced this direction in a long time. While this is going on, if Slabby starts taking shots, Wuju 2 is trying to creep in onto Team Liquid as well. So it's a domino effect. Starting to get the throwables out. Slabby, can he crest around this rock? It is going to be dangerous if he does so, but that's the name, potentially dangerous. What can you get out of it?
There you go. Nicely done there by Slabby, and that will clean up Duel. They do lose one in the process, but 3-man on that southwestern side. El Proyecto will go down as 55 holds strong. Baki going to be the one that gets the credit for most of those, but he goes down. Trisk now the last player left alive for that squad. Falcons, meanwhile, 3 on the
All right,
south
Hot
side
Take.
of the
Have a
road.
good one, man. Be
Tickleton's
good, bud.
Still left up to the north, and somehow, some way, Matcham, LG Luminosity has managed to keep 3 alive after just sheltering down in that open field.
But here's the thing, Falcons with the shift down to the south are providing a moment for Team Liquid to get some breathing room. These guys have been under duress, just being suppressed the whole time. But no, you don't want to peek at the Falcons right now. They were your saviors unintentionally, as Wuju 2 being the closer range target is exactly who they want to take care of. Crossfire angles, though, were very dangerous. Pretty Curdy is going to go down, leaving just Alo alive, right next to potentially dangerous, while Falcons are just trying to usurp as many kills as they can. They've been putting out a lot of damage, but they want the points.
Liquid back in solo mode. This time it's going to be Alo that has to do it. PD still having control over that southwestern side. Fauna now the last player left for Wuju 2, surviving in the smokes, but Falcons, they're not going to stick around. They're not going to let that happen.
No.
Top 4 now remaining. Falcons with 4 alive. They have the lion's share. You've got LG on the north side of the road with 3 left up, and you've got that solo player of Alo that could get involved at any time.
Yeah, he's just so close to potentially dangerous and has no real options. We're just waiting for 15 seconds to see how the circle is going to stack up. Give teams options. LG, they want to make a move. They've got a road and a field in front of them, and they know they're right on the edge. Math doesn't really favor what's going to happen with them, so they know they've got to be prepared to just go ahead and make a send right as soon as the circle pops.
Yeah, there's just nothing good for them to play, really. And now that shift is going to pull even farther away. They've got to hope that that Falcons and PD start fighting each other. But PD, they know that LG is over there. They know to focus their full attention off to the north here and take care of LG before turning over towards Falcons.
Okay, so, I mean, the big moving factor is just LG. That's what are they going to do? And you can see they need to weaken something. So maybe these squads taking a couple of shots at each other, if they see a couple of knocks out, that could be their moment. But, I mean, LG is already sitting in a pretty decent spot, 89 points overall. So it's not like they need to be worried about playing blue zone or anything else like that. They just can't find an angle. They need to get at least one knock on a potentially dangerous, but H1, the rest of Falcons, also kind of shift in. Let's not forget the Falcons also do have to move. So the longer that LG waits here, there is an opportunity that they could catch whenever Falcons are making their shift as well. And that means that potentially dangerous will have 2 different firing lines that they have to deal with.
Throughout all of this, Alo, they're 1 point away from hopping into that 8th place spot. But yeah, this is pretty much exactly what you were expecting would happen. Vox will do his best to get somewhere to play. Tires get shot out, but he's getting shot at from every side.
No, not next to Alo.
Oh no, he's gonna go into Alo.
Out of everywhere you could go.
Hey, there it is. And Team Liquid is in the top 8.
All right. Do what you can. Alo's going to go down. We are now looking at a 4v3, potentially dangerous, with the distraction of Vox just kind of running in. Means the fact that Falcons did manage to get a couple of members inside the zone, but they don't have a lot of cover. They got some rocks. That's about it. It's all going to be about firing and getting control over position through that. It's going to be mostly about potentially dangerous, having the terrain to play. Look at that. High ground, rocks, vision down, and Falcons do manage to get real close now in nade range.
It's actually crazy to me that they were able to get Shrimsy and H-Win over here in the vehicle when Gabriel had that MG in hand. They just did not allow him time to peek over the top. Tiggleton and Kickstart doing a great job of forcing them to keep their heads down. And now Falcons will try to make the push. Panzerfaust in hand. Gabriel.
Oh, God.
Oh, he's peeking it. This is dangerous, but doesn't matter. Panzerfaust wins yet again, and now H-Win has the rock. He's got another knock as well. It's all down to Slabby, and Slabby is going to get pushed. And why not 3 wins in a row from Team Falcons, this time with 10 kills?
This
got the turkey out of it.
Absolutely insane. Falcons, they woke up. They are just absolute control over these games right now. They're playing positions well. They know exactly where they should be moving time and time again. This is
great wins.
Well-researched, cleanly executed play coming up from the Falcons right now.
I mean, it's not even that it's well researched. I mean, you're playing in a lobby where half of these teams you've never even played against before, and the other half have new rosters. So you have no idea what to really expect. It's just
I'm talking
these
about
guys.
positioning and play, understanding
Sure,
places that you should be playing from, weaknesses,
Look,
maneuverabilities. Look at
you
that
can
shit that they
position
made over
yourself
there
as-
with that 2-0. That
You
was
can
good.
position yourself as good as you like. If somebody is going to crash into you and you're not expecting it, there's nothing you can do about it. But Falcons right now are just operating on all cylinders right now. It's ridiculous what they've been able to put together. We've still got 2 games left to play too, Matchroom, so we might see 4 in a row from Falcons. Who knows? We're going to take a quick break to show you these highlights when we come back.
So while they are in the cusp position right now, we'll have to see if anybody can kind of step in. That does
One
mean that we have seen
44.
Spire shift out, no longer in good position. My worry, though, is Wuju 2. We've seen Wuju 2 be playing some stellar games at later stages where we have seen them absolutely
They're
step
getting
on
kills
and go.
and placement. They're just dominating
And
the
I think when you look
entire
at
thing.
the way things are standing too, you know, Europe just finished earlier today. 77 points was the cutoff. So I think in NA, it's looking like it might be in and around that, possibly even higher again. But I think for Team Liquid, you said it, damage control, they're not playing well by any stretch of the imagination. But my big point yesterday was their floor.
Ooh, look at that. Like you did it on purpose, chat. You know what I'm looking forward to see, Gibson? It's the last 2 games, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are teams that are very much just, you know what, we're going LCQ. Let's get weird. So maybe we saw what happened yesterday. God Squad got back-to-back wins in the final 2 games of the day. Maybe one of these teams that's right on the cusp, that's chasing down that top 8 spot, maybe they could take advantage of the chaos and use that as a ladder. Chaos is a ladder. I heard that somewhere. I can't remember where.
That phrase might have been in a really big show with dragons in it. I'm
Could have
not
been.
quite sure. Yeah. And it was actually an Irish actor that said that too, believe it or not. There you go.
You would
keep
know
it-
that.
Yeah, of course I would. Honestly, though, to your point, it is weird, right? There's a thing in human nature where sometimes people like to revel in causing a problem for other people. And if you're going to LCQs, you could do that. Like, some people do like to be, you know, well, it's like, well, if we're not going, we're going to be the reason you're not going to go as well. So why not? Oh, yeah. Right, see if we get anything near a Zarki circle on my first map of the day. I'm losing it. I'm losing it.
Why not, man? Why not? I mean, the only thing that could have been worse is a millicircle, but this ain't great. Right now, Toyo probably in the best position, and that's not really saying a whole lot. Team Falcons looting up in Pachinki. We'll see where they decide to go. I would love to see if they could pull off 4 in a row. I've seen 3 in a row before. I don't know if I've ever seen 4 in a row.
An official competition, I don't think I have. I've seen them do it in scrims a few times when you're just like, yeah, this is
scrims.
Exactly. But an official competition, them doing that is doing so many favors to those teams that are in the contention, right? Because Falcons and Working in Silence were so good, it means that Wuju 2 down through to like Sam Crismo all still have a chance to force their way into that top 8.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we were talking about coming into today, or one of the things that I was looking on was anybody, despite the fact that we had some kind of heavy hitters, some big names in this lobby, was there going to be any of those point sponges that would keep that cut line low? And as of right now, Falcons, well, they live in a what do they live in? They live in a pineapple under the sea, because they are sponging so hard in this lobby, and they are keeping that 8th place cut line well within reach for pretty much everybody. I would say even almost down to Toyo with 2 games left.
Yeah, no matter how hard you try to get me to say it, I'm not saying the line that I said last time I worked at PAS. It's just not happening. It was you I worked with as well, right? It was me and you casting that
So
game.
good
I'm
at
not
baiting
saying
people.
it again. Yeah.
Come on, it's fun. We have fun
Would you
here,
say
guys.
you're a
don't you?
master at it?
I would. Well, Wuju too. They're going to take the E pickup into somewhere. I got to pull my map stream back up again to see exactly where they're thinking about going. Well, they cut right across the middle of that zone, and unfortunately, they leave one behind as LFP just had to get that flash hider.
Yeah, look, sometimes you just need that last bit. And LFP, well, he's going to take the low road. You know what? In the situation they're at 10th place, a couple points off it, you know, 3 people go, they do a bit of scout work for the rest of the team, and then worst case scenario, LFP can just try to eke out a couple of placement points if the rest of the team falls. But a circle like this, Paro, points of access kind of limited. The bridges are going to be really highly, you know, contested. Like Team Liquid already in their George spot, they're going to cross over to the bridge, maybe take Cube a little bit early on. But it is going to get a little bit hectic for those teams, particularly the ones that stay on the southern side of the circle a little bit longer than they should.
Yeah. Liquid, I would be actually surprised if they decided to go to Cube. Like they have a good area. It's almost like they're trying to figure out, based off of what this circle looks like, if this thing's it has any option of cutting south again, right? I mean, it feels like it's going north of the river. It really does. But you know, there's always a chance. But we'll keep an eye on it. Toyo, Wuju 2 gonna look down on this as they fly over. But Toyo has Kane and Frost from Fire on their side, and once again, Firefly's just kind of in a little bit of a split here. They've got 2 over here, and then they've got 2 in Cube. So really, what are they hoping to get out of this by taking shots at Toyo?
I think they're scouting by. They want to find out if the compound's free, but now knowing that it's not, their best bet will be to go play somewhere else because, well, actually, Paro, look at the score. What score like 24 points? Remember what you were saying about a team playing a spoiler and being a pain in the side?
Yeah.
It could just be that as well.
Well, I mean, it's just, if you're going to do a split with Cube, this is a very, very wide one, I would say. But a lot of E-pickups in the air as Razav has already gone on. Now God Squad will join them as well. So that both of these actually intersecting right over the top of that airplane crash. So we'll have to see where Razav decides to go, and if God Squad's got their good eyes on and they spot them out before they end up dropping. Meanwhile, 55, they are following just behind Duel, wrapping around that eastern side of Yasnaya. Potentially dangerous in Tiltown, unable to find the E pickups, so they're taking the long road in from the south. And Wushu 2, looks like they may have spotted out these helicopters coming through. Razav, for their part, they finally drop it. It looks like they might be heading towards Severny, which is a 2-2 LG split.
Yeah, and then looking at Falcons too, they've got a great bit of information from where they're playing. They know where 2 players from Toyo are at. They can spot Fireflies inside a cube. Luminosity spotting Severny being crashed or being dropped on now by Razav, looking to find some shots on to get that knock in the engagement. Not a single bullet of damage being found on the team Razav. They managed to hit the deck, and all of a sudden things get a little bit more difficult for Luminosity, because if a team drops on top of you, now you need to worry about where they're rotating, and that causes so many problems for them going later into the game, and they're just bugging out.
And look at this. God Squad gets plane crash for free at 7 minutes into the game as they pick up and drop right on top of it. Meanwhile, the duo from Luminosity trying to escape Severny, they might run into Outlaws, as yet we see them driving right by here. They have to avoid the line of sight from Razav. It looks like they managed to do just that. So good driving there on the part of Vox, as Luminosity will get all 4 back together. But that northeastern side is getting really cramped right now. 55 Duel, Outlaws, and Razav all up in there. And 9-1 will open things up with the knock on the Penta.
Yeah, and that's a great knock from Fire with the ace, and that forces Jill in a tough situation. Now, Wooly will find the knock on to Gump, who went for the off angle, and the instant flush will occur. Smoke's being thrown down to attempt to get some cover. He's not going to go for the res just yet, but he wants to keep Penta alive and in the fight. Elsewhere, 55, a little further south of this one, they're locking horns with Nick, meaning that Curry is in a fight by himself alongside 9-1. Lynxie just needs to find that headshot. Curry is jiggle picking on the other side of the tree, but Paro, the shots aren't going to open up, but he does get the chance, but he misses it.
Well, hope you enjoy having fights up here, because Sam Crismo is starting to sneak around as well, so we might have a 5th member getting involved, but it looks like 55 is going to pull off, rejoin themselves. They're going to go back to the warehouses, whilst Sam Crismo will play more towards the street, although we've got one guy kind of creeping up in there, and they're just going to leave Duel and Outlaws here to their own devices. It looks like Duel should be able to get their knocked man down, and Outlaws will use that opportunity to escape on that road on the north side.
Baki spots out one of the Sam Crismo players who was just peeking up towards Warehouse, but Doesn't get any shots to land, but does enough damage to the vehicle to force them to turn tail and get themselves back inside of the junkyard compound. They'll probably go for a 2-2 split of sorts, but I'm just looking at the map feed. The other two players are pushing up to the yellow on Crossroads, right beside Luminosity.
Yeah, they're looking to see, they're limit testing essentially. They got here very late, so they're trying to see how much they can take before they get shot at, and so far so good for them as Rezav now taking shots at Outlaws. They were able to retreat from Duel. Now they are under the watchful eyes here of Martin and Fisher, as Curry just hiding around on that cliffside for the time being. Outlaws will manage to keep these two guys alive, but a lot of eyes looking over in that direction.
Yeah, and Team Rezav looking to do real damage here. Fisher using the SKS, and those bullets will arrive in 3 to 5 business days, and it is a Sunday, so I don't think that those SKS bullets will happen anytime soon. We're getting ready for the next shift, though. I have seen a shift in this circle many a time pop back towards that Liver Island, just south of where Falcons are playing, and that's exactly where it goes.
There you go. A lot of the south side of the river still in play, and that's actually going to play out beautifully for Tilt Town, as they were the last ones remaining, potentially dangerous, making the cross over by Cube while they had the opportunity. Still a lot of teams on that north side now outside of this zone. You can see El Proyecto trying to get everybody back together before Rezav turns their attention over in this direction. LG trying to make the cross pass by Sam Crismo, but they'll lose Bizzler in the process.
Nick still holding that yellow building as well by Crossroads, and LG sitting in 4th place right now should have enough points to be more than safe going into tomorrow, but Sam Crismo doing a great job of just locking in this position for now, getting points on the board. Firefly with their split might get the opportunity as Gats will run out through the open, but he manages to get behind the tree, and a great headshot as Kane is able
to
get
in the
knock
face
on the Gats.
A little bit of an ego peek from Gats there with 1 HP remaining, but he will go down. Snaker's still alive, and it looks like Wooly was creeping up on the backside of Duel as, I'm sorry, Vox rather. Duel was kind of following 55, wrapping around towards the south on the eastern side, but Vox will pull away. 55, meanwhile, won't continue that wrap. Rezav now looking towards Sam Crismo. They're going to find Lopes. Laucha gets traded, though, as Sam Crismo. Nick is going to go down as well, and now Martin down, as the trades just coming fast and furious here between Sam Crismo
and Rezav. Fast and furious, for sure.
Yeah, Sam Crow caught out in the open by Fisher, switches over to that aforementioned SKS, but he gets found out by El Proyecto up on high, as they've got the high ground overlooking this fight. This might buy some time for DNL to get reses off. Now, Beleda will be able to pick up his teammate and move back towards the vehicle and get all, or at least most of Team Rezav back up onto their feet. But I think for Sam Crismo, they've abandoned Nick. He's too close to the rest of Rezav.
And it looks like Fisher might be in no man's land as well. Luminosity will get eliminated in 16th place, but as you said, currently sitting in 4th with 89 points overall. They should be fine and should have punched their ticket to the grand final already. God Squad now defending that plane crash from Wuju 2. It's only 2 from Wuju 2 here, and they've already managed to do a good bit of damage on a sneak attack. Fighting through the smoke clouds, will get the spray on the Fana. What a spray from Pat Caps. And now Wuju 2 down to just 1.
I'm so glad Pat Caps is back. I'm really excited about seeing Pat Caps back inside the game. He'll pick up that point for God Squad. They're increasing that gap as well, making that cutoff point even higher as we lose Sam Crismo. We're down to 14 teams left alive, Paro. 13 minutes gone, so we're probably on cue, but here come Liquid.
Yep. 2 teams that were in the hunt, trying to go for that 8th place cutoff spot. Now in a lot of danger as Purdy Curdy will get the opening knock on a Shinboy. Pat Cap's going to go down as well. Purdy Curdy showing what the old man can do. It's the instant double knock. Sharp shot going to be the first one to arrive in support. Pat Cap's already bleeding out quickly. Good grenade might find some damage. It does, but Sharp shot immediately sprays down. But Alo has his IGLs back, and Balefrost is just left with nothing else to do but run.
He's called Bale Frost, but he's bailing fast out of this one. He wants to get a couple more placement points for his team, but for Team Liquid,
terrible pun.
4 more points on the board for them. They'll get the res off. They move up to 73, increasing that gap to Wuju 2. two
Called
potentially
Bill
dangerous.
Frost,
Those
but he's
teams
belling
that are in
fast.
the hunt. Aleda and Martino, they've got Posa and the rest of El Proyecto not too far away. And Gizera does what Gizera do. He sprays him down with the ace. And with all for Rezav, this could be curtains for them in this map as well. And it is.
Nicely placed grenade there. Beautiful spray from Gizera to start things off. And now El Proyecto have control over the north. They have the shooting range. They have everything that they could want here. Just off to the west is where things are starting to get a little bit more complicated, as potentially dangerous, he said, are in the hunt, but they need to get some points. They need to get some kills. They have Liquid at a little bit of a disadvantage, but I don't think they know it. They haven't been able to come over to the top to spot out any of these guys just yet. I think Gabriel may have just seen Sparking. No, he's not looking over in that direction.
He has no clue that Sparking's off to the right, but he does know that Liquid are not too far away. If he can find the opening knock, even if he gets traded back, it will buy time for the other members of Potentially Dangerous to get some points on the board. But Sparking needs to have his head on a swivel. It's, I think, has spotted out Alo now, switches over to the Dragonov. They realize with the blue pushing this way, there's only one place these Liquid players can be, and there's the opening signal to fight. Luke 12 will eat a headshot, but is it going to force them back into the waiting reticle of Gavin on the other side?
Is that okay?
Bad grenades there.
You just threw my
unfortunately,
Xbox.
PD. As Sparking will spot
That's what's
out
in there.
Gabriel, and that is a huge spray from him. Gabriel will get the knock on a Purdy-Curdy, but Sparking immediately trades it back. That opens up a small window here for Potentially Dangerous to try to push. Alo tries to hold the line, but gets knocked very low. Has to pull back down.
Where are you sleeping?
Now Slabby has arrived, but look at the flank from Luke 12. Will take them by surprise. Theros now, he's all by himself.
Where are you
in a
sleeping?
bad spot
What about me?
as Team Liquid is controlling this fight. Slabby,
I don't get a hug?
the last player left alive for Potentially Dangerous.
Well, people were poking Liquid with a stick, saying do something all day. Yes, the points on the board, but it looks like they are really coming to life now in this fight by a plane crash. Those horses prancing up over that ridge line, but you can see Outlaws moving this way as well. Sparking peaks, gets the kills, Potentially Dangerous. They have been wiped now, and you can see the Outlaws, they might wrap this way. Balefrost still not too far away. He thought there might have been a chance to gather up and hoover up some extra points, but for now, I think it's just a matter of survival for Balefrost, and that's exactly what he's going to do.
Just not enough knocks given up by Team Liquid. Really well played by them. Not giving an opportunity for anybody to take advantage of them, as we see the circle will collapse. We're down to just 38 alive, so there is a lot of room left to play in this zone, and it will go right on to Toyo. So that is huge news for them. If they can manage to pull off something special here, they could set themselves up for a late day run.
Be a good in game
top 8 spot, but it's going to take a lot. They have a lot of work left to do.
Real good in game.
Toyo, though, center of the circle. Do you feel like a big win here if they can get 20 plus points?
It's tough from that compound, man.
I know, but does it put them back into contention? Because is 48 too far away with 2 maps to go?
Yeah. I mean, they're 30 points behind. It feels like it might be, but you know, I mean, a 15-point wins is not outside of the realm of possibility. But the problem for Toyo is that compound, everybody knows somebody is going to be in that compound. They should know that there's going to be playing from the hillside just to the south. So everybody's just going to avoid it at all costs. So Toyo, despite the fact that they might be in a great position here to get a win, they're just not going to get the kills to go along with it, you would think. And even if they do, they would have to follow that up then with another big performance in the final game of the day. But is it possible? Absolutely.
It is, but there's still a couple of big problems for that if they want to get that to happen. You've still got Falcons 4-man up inside the lobby. Team Liquid, they've got 4 strong as well, as do El Proyecto. Another team that desperately need points, but I think it's just a task too far for them is Jewel. But here's Liquid now peeking over towards poor Bale, and I think Bale could be in trouble here. They know he's there. There's nades at the ready. He must have made some form of noise. That nade's going to do a lot of damage. The second one follows it up, and Kurt will take Bale down. Another point for Team Liquid as they close the gap even more. Actually, they've even surpassed God Squad now.
They just have eyes in the back of their heads, man. If there's anybody near you, if there's anything slightly amiss, the Liquid boys will spot it out. You can't snake around them. They have been bitten one too many times, I think. But they do still have the Outlaws out there on the outside of zone to keep an eye on. Tilt Town, meanwhile, trying to fight their way in, but Falcons, the indomitable Falcons, the destroyers of the lobby here today, are the one thing that's separating Tilt Town from safety. And it is bad news bears, as there you go. Outlaws will get spotted out. And now Tilt Town in a little bit of trouble as Kickstart will open things up with a knock on a Trimble.
Yeah, and look at Shrimsy and Tailton already flanking on the other side of this fight, realizing that they're weak now. Doobie's got a big job to do, and he's not going to do it. Shrimsy will find that knock with the AUG spray. Tilttown, yeah, Tilttown are about to be wiped out, and they are. It's easy for Falcons.
I don't even know if they got a shot off. I mean, Tilttown just got absolutely destroyed, and you hate to see it, but what a play, what play we've had all day from Falcons. As they continue their dominance, Wuzhu 2 will get knocked out in 9th place. So they will get up to 66 points, still within striking range, but it's going to take 9 points to pass God Squad, assuming God Squad does not pull off something magical here in the final game as well.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough slog for any team outside the top 8 to move their way in.
Yeah.
As we
But
said,
the problem is you got to take them every day.
20 plus points from this game just to be in with a chance. And as you said, 20 points from this position is really hard to get. Looking elsewhere around the circle now, a lot of traffic up around the north with Liquid, El Proyecto, Fireflies are still up there, Jeweler in the area. To the south, it's a little bit quieter, but we might be about to have a massive fight on the north between two of the big dogs, because if Team Liquid rotate the right way through, they're going to go head-to-head with Falcons. But I think it's more likely, Poro, that they kind of just play that ridgeline that they're on right now and maybe even move more so towards the south side of it.
Yeah, they're in a little bit of an interesting situation because they've got El Proyecto there as well, but the push coming through, Firefly, Andrew will hold off the line from Duel. Wooly gonna play the wall, try to see if he can get some kind of angle here, but it's just not gonna happen as he goes down after getting the knock on a Jabba Linksy in no man's land once again, and Duel, just like that, will get taken down. Team Liquid, they had to hop in the vehicle, they had to go somewhere, and this is where they choose. Luke 12 gets knocked, but that should be able to get rezzed again. But look at Falcons. They saw this, and they want to feast. Tiggleton pushing with the Panzer in hand.
Oh, I love it. Look at the aggression again. Look at the way that they push into these fights. All 4 players free-flowing towards Liquid from different angles, making sure that A, you're in a position to trade each other, but B, you're in trouble. But elsewhere, here we go. Fireflies weak off the back of that fight. Here come El Proyecto. And what the hell, Kraken? Good night. Fireflies, they've been squashed. El Proyecto secure the compound.
There you go, El Proyecto. 8 kills now, showing a little bit of that spark that we saw in game number 1. They got a back now here that we've made our way over to Erangel. Falcons, meanwhile, they were making that push. It looked like they wanted to get Froggy, but in the end, they stopped things down here a little bit. The smoke wall from Liquid, maybe enough to kind of keep Falcons at bay for the time being. But the Falcons still sticking around. They're just not actively pushing.
They don't need to, right?
They're
on the edge of the circle. You know the Team Liquid are in front of you. You realize that Toy are on that compound, so if you get a little bit too quick on the push with Team Liquid, because Toyo need the points, they're going to flow over that ridgeline to get involved with a third party. So Falcons will just wait for one of those Liquid members to get a little isolated and pick up the first knock and flush whenever it appears itself. But you know what? As I say that, they're engaging. They've decided they want to engage now.
Yeah, they know who it is. They saw that knock, or I think they got that knock, but you can see they only have 3 up there. They've left Kickstart kind of separated from the backside to make sure that nobody wraps around them. They realize that they have so much empty space at their backs that they have to play it a little bit more carefully, and they can't fully commit to making this push against Team Liquid, because if they do end up trading, like you said, Toyo right there will be more than happy to go out there and make that push in third party onto that fight. Sparking just holding the line right now, waiting for footsteps to come across that hill.
Ray Sparking, by the way. That's what we call him, because he's the king. He's the best player inside of South America. You like that? Yeah?
Sure, why not?
Yeah. I find out now that I pronounced that absolutely terribly, and it's fine. It's fine. People, they get what I meant, okay? It's as simple as that.
Yeah. Hey, look, hey, it counts. It counts. When a man has a mini 14 tattooed on his arm, you can call him whatever the heck you want to, really. I mean, we've seen Sparkin pull off some amazing things in the past, and right now, Liquid in a good place to pull off something amazing yet again. They've got eyes on Dots. I think they all realize that Dots have to move in from that south side, and Dots just kind of in a really rough spot. 55 kind of in the same boat as they're going to hop into vehicles, and they're going to push right on the doorstep of Team Liquid, but Sparking has that grenade in hand. Does he have the arm to land it? It's going to go a little too far, but the spray from Sparking, he heard the footsteps from Shrimzy and almost gets kickstart as well.
Shrimzy has fallen off the back of that. Baki is 55 decide they want a third party this fight. They want to cause disengagement. Sparking is down, but Tiggleton can't quite get the flush. And here is that push over the top from Toyo that we expected to happen. Capitan, he peeks first. Tiggleton will land the first few shots, but all Capitan is bait. He's providing cover for Emmy with the MG3 to push on the other side of this fight, and it's Pipa that finds the off angle. But there's Kurt as this four-way dance continues. The first team to fall will be 55, and that missed as Shane Doe from Dots makes it a 5-team fight. This is all kicking off here over on the west.
I mean, there's no team that benefited more from this than Dots. They were pinned up against the wall, but as soon as the fight kicks off, they immediately use that time to their advantage, push right into the midst of Team Liquid, who is now back up to full strength. They have 4 alive. H-Witty Kickstart still alive for Falcons, but they're outside of zone. They've got to push in. Team Liquid now fully attention onto Dots, but H-Witty Kickstart pushing in as well. You can see Sparking trying to send some smokes over in that direction to slow things down, as Luke 12 is going to get spotted out. Alo's going to get spotted out. Dots coming alive here in the late game.
I love it. Shane Doe getting that knock. H1 from Falcons, third parties. Kurt gets the kill as Liquid. They move to 15. 4 teams left alive. It's a 4v3v, 2v2. Toyo need every single point that they can get from this point on. But who will take who out in this fight between Falcons, El Proyecto, and Toyo? I think that Toyo, they've played it smart. They've kept themselves out of trouble. And for Falcons, they got 6 kills. They might not win this game, but they're in the top 4 again.
Well, we'll have to wait another day to see 4 in a row, maybe, but it's not over yet. They still have a shot here. If they can force El Proyecto and Toyo to get into a unfavorable fight, they could come in and third party this at any time. But El Proyecto, again, now breaking that 100-point barrier. They have had themselves a day. They have looked fantastic through these group stages. They have 4 alive, and they are set. And they have a really good shot here at getting another win here today. If they can just manage to focus their attention down, if they can get Toyo down and keep Falcons pinned. You can see Posa, that is his job. He is looking over in this direction and making sure that he tracks H-Winning Kickstart.
Posa is insane as well, playing that scout role on the south. You know, he's going to lock them in. H-Win, though, H-Win's got the... I always say this, if you have a level 3 helmet and level 3 vest, you've got an extra life. It buys you an extra bit of time, and it gives you so much an advantage, even if you're down to a simple 2. But look, El Proyecto, Posa, he's moving that car a little bit closer inside the circle. This is genius. He's using the smoke, and then he's trying to use the coupe to just peek over the top of it.
And just give yourself some hard cover on that edge of the zone. Make sure that you keep track of exactly... I mean, he knows where they are, right? So just give yourself a little bit of safety there to play around. Toyo, meanwhile, desperate, looking for any opening here, trying to find some kind of knock, but El Proyecto not giving them anything, as Posa will spot out Kickstart. Shots come through, and that will just be nothing really more than keeping Falcons honest. And look at the Toyo. Toyo, I think, realizing they couldn't spot out anything from El Proyecto, so they're just going to go ahead and try to wrap around on this western side and take their chances with Falcons.
Yeah, that's a tough decision to make, right? El Proyecto or Falcons, which team do you want to engage? Falcons. Yeah, I think just because of the numbers, Falcons is the right thing to do here, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Nades being tossed up over that ridge line, but as you can see, not even in the same post code as Kickstart as things stand. Only thing I'll say, Kickstart, the one without the level 3 gear, is the first player that they're probably going to run into. So in that 3 versus 1, until H1 gets the other angle, it could be a problem. But Benya, he will be a problem if he can hit shots with that Lynx, because never mind hitting like a truck, that thing hits like a B-52 bomber.
Yeah, but you got to hit the shots, though. That's That's the one bad part. As you see, El Proyecto Posa will abandon his low wrapping position or defense position, and Falcon's going to read that immediately and send it. H-Win will find the knock on Posa, and now Toyo, they are suddenly very interested in turning their attention back towards the north and leaving Falcons to their own devices here on the low side.
This is on a knife edge, this game. 3v3v2 of standing players. El Proyecto might just have Kraken to attempt to think about getting that res on the poster, but he needs Haven to provide cover. Benya misses the link shot, and as you said, you've got to hit those. There's ammo is so limited with that thing.
He's still got 6 shots left, and they still got the MG in play, and it looks like Toyo missed their opportunity to take advantage of the knock onto Posa, and now El Proyecto back up to full strength. Zera just going to keep recycling these smokes. They've got a lot of utility left to use, and they're very comfortable in using it. Kickstart taking a few shots from downhill. Doesn't manage to get any damage in. There you go, Benya. That's how you hit the shots with the links. Gizera now on his back. Benya trying to find Haven as well, but he's not going to get him. Toyo, are you going to take advantage? Are you going to push? They don't have a lot of offensive utility, though. That's the only problem.
Benya with no boosters either, so he's stuck on 75 HP for the rest of this game. It ain't going to get any higher. Center point drawn in the middle of the hill as Posa puts a center point into the skull of Pipa, who will get one from his knees as Gizera will fall at the hands. It's a 2v2v2 now. This is anyone's game, and a hole up. Falcons going for the wide wrap. Benya has to hold them down by himself.
Oh, Toyo maybe just getting a little bit too paralysis through analysis here. They had an opportunity to make the push onto El Proyecto while they had the knocks. Now Haven and Posa still very, very low. It's all down to Emmy, but he's got that MG3 in hand. But Falcons now, they are laughing all the way to the bank. The 4th win might still be on the menu as they've got their 7th kill collected, and it's a 2v2. Gizera and Haven versus H-Win and Kickstart for the win.
And H-Win will fall. That's the level 3 gear down and out. Gizera, low HP, but one good bit of utility thrown this way could be a problem. Kickstart is so good in these situations. He's so good at clutching. He takes 15 damage. He falls, and it's El Proyecto from 3rd place getting the win. Falcons can't go 4 in a row, but El Proyecto, what a game. 25 points.
Beautiful work from El Proyecto once again. But honestly, man,
with 8, that means 38 players died to 3 teams in that last game, Gibson.
That's wild.
Yeah, and it's just what you expect. Like, Liquid, we've been waiting for that game from them this whole time. It finally came on Erangel, a map where you expect them to stand.
Best opportunity at securing that 8th place spot and avoiding what is sure to be a wild last chance qualifier, Gibson.
Yeah, I'm actually really disappointed that Wuju 2 haven't hot dropped God Squad, because you said the point gap was 9. With the point gap being 9, if Wuju 2 hot dropped them and win that fight, give or take, you probably lose 1 player, maybe 2 in that fight. That gap goes from like 9 down to 6 or 7. And then that's really easy to make up over the course of the game. But Wuju 2 have elected not to do that. They'll go to their standard Severny. But did you even notice how Sharpshot off that drop went really far north straight away to protect them from the hot drop? He went all the way north. Once he realized nobody else parachuted their way, he turned tail, came back to join the rest of the team. It just goes to show that they were planning for that possibility of a hot drop to kick things off.
Yeah, I mean, you always got to be thinking, right? Like, especially it's final game of the day. We've always talked about, oh, okay, that's good news for God Squad right there. But you always talk about when you start getting to the later games here in group stages, some teams start to get a little silly goofy, and God Squad just avoiding that for the time being. Now, again, everybody, they have that security blanket of that last chance qualifier as well, but if you don't have to play in it, if you could just get to the grand final, that's what you'd want to do anyway. So we'll see if God Squad can pull that out here today. But Wushu 2, they have a shot, but they're going to have some traveling to do.
Can I play devil's advocate a little bit?
Oh, absolutely.
Right? So there's going to be some teams that'll go into the last chance qualifiers where you're not expecting them to qualify internationally for PGS. However, they've got very talented players who are good enough to play at that level. If you go to the LCQs, it gives you a lot more opportunity to put good things on tape so that if an opportunity arrives to be a sub for one of those teams that are going to an international event, or even if an opportunity opens up on a roster, you've shown that you can do it in an LCQ lobby, in an official. It's not really the worst thing in the world, particularly for those teams that you expect to be, you know, in down and around the bottom 5-6, but there's still talented players on the teams.
Oh, what a spray.
UMP, why not?
The ump man. Well, there goes Gabry. So potentially dangerous. It was going to be a long shot for them regardless, but looking a lot more long now that they are down to 3 early on. But I see your point. I see the argument to be made for trying to put a little bit more film together for your highlight reels to make an argument for yourself to get on better teams and get more looks. So yeah, why not? We'll see. I mean, hey, we've seen some players pull off some crazy stuff in last chance qualifiers and kind of make a name for us. I feel like Richie B was one of those, the Bizzler.
Richie B is actually insane though. Like,
yeah, I mean,
he's one of my favorite players to watch. And you know, we're talking about opportunities for new up and coming players to get through, like Monster and Cowboy in the last 2 years. They've really you know, put themselves to the forefront. But the problem is, right, as well as these young players coming through, you've got old heads coming back, like Pat Caps is back, K-Mine's back, and you know, maybe he's saving himself for the LCQs. But we're seeing people make, you know, coming back into the game, because I don't think you can ever really retire from PUBG. Once it's got its hooks in you, they're there for good.
Yep. PUBG's a hell of a drug. Well, Nick, you know, it's not looking great for potentially dangerous, as he is pretty much dead to rights here. That Dragunov. Oh, just take the shot, man. Just take it. Yep. GG. You hate to see it for potentially dangerous. They've had some really good moments here, and I think that they are definitely one of the teams that we need to be watching going into that last chance qualifier, as somebody that could put something together here. But I think they've definitely learned a lot from this first group stages.
You know who needs the points though? It is Sam Crismo. Sam Crismo. They need them. Like, they're not mathematically ruled out yet. Yes, they need a lot of things to go their way, but 2 points in the first 5 minutes, it starts to build the belief up just a little bit.
Yeah, you start thinking you can make a run, and if you're God Squad, you got to be looking at that as well and see that in the kill feed and realizing, okay, well, one of the teams that was right on our backs is starting things off early with a couple of kills. So what are we going to do now?
I'll tell you what they're going to do. They're going to chill for a bit longer.
Yeah. That's exactly what they should do.
Like, this is a high traffic road. You know, Sam Crismo play here for a while. A couple more teams could come this way. Now, Slabby, on the other hand, with the mini at the ready, would be tempted to get some revenge. You know, usually when a team bugs out, there's always one person left standing. I know. Does Sam Crow realize that Slabby is looking right this way?
They have no idea. There's no way they have any idea. I mean, you know, you just took 2 off of a team, so you assume that others may be around, but you also assume that they're not going to just blind send a 2v4. So we'll see if that assumption pays off for him. Is going to run inside and he has no idea that Nick is there. Ooh, Sam Crow gets knocked low though.
Yeah, he's going to know Sam's there, because Sam's made a ton of noise. Now, Nick is... I'm surprised Nick's not had the shot, taking the shot. There we go. Now, finally, Nick takes the shots. That's another point garnered for Sam Crow. They're up to 2, make it 3 kills. Slabby, the last player alive, they know exactly where he is. And, you know, for Slabby, like, what is the plan now? You know, you need 27 points, realistically. Like, I know... Yeah, never mind.
I guess Slabby was done for the day. That's fine. I still stand by. I think potentially dangerous is definitely going to be a team to watch in that LCQ. So we'll see them. Definitely.
No. Yeah, never mind. 27 points realistically. Like, I know. Yeah, never mind.
I guess Slabby was done for the day. That's fine. I still stand by. I think potentially dangerous is definitely going to be a team to watch in that LCQ. So we'll see them next time. As now we got eyes on Sam Crismo, as they have now climbed up to 61 points within shouting distance, I guess. Obviously, again, it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a big performance, but they've started off things at least.
Have you seen their logo, though? Like, they've got that divine power behind them, maybe. You see what happens. Tiltown, they're minus General Lee today. He filled in yesterday, and, he didn't put in the numbers that I'd like to see from General Lee, but it's always fun to see him in the lobby. But Tiltown, they hear Toyo. Toyo are on the retreat. They're a long way from qualifying through to the grand finals as things stand. And, yeah, they've bailed off Everest. I think whether it was sound, whether it was a call from the IGL that they're going to maybe fall back a little further away, they don't want any smoke up on the mountain.
Yeah, it's always kind of a dangerous proposition doing a 2-2 split with two at the top of Everest, especially in the circle like this, where you're going to get teams that come up on that eastern side and make the push through. So if you're going to do it, you either commit all four or you just don't even bother. Especially with the 2-2 split that Toyo now has, which is, in my opinion, a lot better. But we'll see how it goes. El Proyecto, they've got a nice little center spot here as well at the base of Everest. And for the most part, everybody really already in their spots that they want to play. Now, I say that, but Sam Crismo kind of wrapping around towards the north on this eastern side. They're going to run right into Duel.
Yeah, if you want to get the map stream open challenge, exclamation map should bring you to that feed. There we go, right on cue. It's brought up. So Jewel will drive right through the middle of Sam Crismo. And you can see that battle is going on. Now, Sam Crismo need every single point that they can gather. Lopez will go for the reload. He doesn't have a lot of bullets to fire off into the distance, but Jewel will get ahead of them. Even more importantly, Jewel will leapfrog them into the circle and get first preference. But there you go, DNL. We'll get Penta after Penta got Nick. It's another point for Sam Crismo. The question is, Jewel with nothing really to play for at this point, did they lock... Yeah, Woolie's coming back. Did Jewel want this fight?
I think they do. I think they know they got the knock on a Nick, but I also think that Sam Crismo is hunting right now. They want all the smoke, and they're trying to get as many points as they can get. So Duel may be playing right into their hands here as Woolie's going to get taken down by Sam Crow. So now that is a 5th kill picked up for Sam Crismo. Can they do it? Can they pull off the miracle last second run? It's still a lot left to do.
It all came down to the last map in EMEA earlier, and maybe Sam Crismo are giving us something to worry about. The circle will come back towards the mainland, taking a lot of the question marks over where it could go now, with Falcons in a great spot with their Gatka split 2-2. 55 Esports playing on the top of Dog Hill. Yeah, I know that everyone calls it different animals, but it's Dog Hill to me because
you're the caster. You're all that matters right now.
Well, all I'm going to say is some people call it Llama Hill, right? If it's Llama Hill, then what is that compound at the back end of Llama? Like, I say it's Dog Hill because that's dog food. If it's a llama, that's something very different at the back.
All right, man. I'm convinced.
Like, what are you going to say? Oh, guys, yeah, we're going to take the llama droppings compound. Yeah, like, come on, bro.
Well, while all this is going on, God Squad did manage to make a rotation, all 4 on the southern side of the swamp right now. So, despite the fact that Sam Crismo is pulling off some early game heroics here, making a run, God Squad still in the picture. So it might be for naught here as Wuju 2 trying to make the wrap through the wide open field. They're going to run across Outlaws, do a little casual jousting here with LFP, Fauna, Gump trading shots. Gump's going to be the one that loses out on that one. And now they're pushing right into LG, and Gats is more than happy to take shots over in this direction. Outlaws actually pushing right on top of Vox, and he's going to get run over as Outlaws. I don't even know if they knew he was there, but they will take it, and they'll also take Gats.
901 was just like, watch this. He's the eyes in the back there. You lose one, you pick up another one, you flatten poor Vox, and there's nothing Snakers can do. Now, Richie B moving this way. Tilt Down peeking over towards El Proyecto, who have a defensive Panzer in position. I think it's Gizera with that weapon at the ready. But Tilt Down sitting on 25 points. Look, the Bizzer, we spoke about him and Snakers making their way over.
Ooh.
They managed to get Haven. Why you got to do that to Trimble? Like, that's nutty.
Just disgusting. They've lost as a Kraken, but it doesn't really seem to matter a whole lot, as he will drop that grenade right on a dime as well to make sure he gets the flush. And El Proyecto back to 3 deep in the compound. Now they are a little bit on the north side here, so they'll take a little bit of luck going their way if they get this shift. And now LG Snakers is going to find Nick with the grenade through the smoke. Curry will get Snakers very low, but won't get the flush here. Bizzler trying to take the drive-by shots will have to pull back as he gets shot in the back, I think, by his own teammate there just a little bit.
Why not? You know, have some fun with it. Bizzler will get a
actually, it
knock
might
on
have been Liquid. I'm sorry.
We'll say it was LG. Why not? We'll stick with that version of the story. Curry, he's going to jiggle peek with Snakers, but Snakers has taken action into his own hand, but Curry will manage to turn him into some powder, peeking that way, and now Richie B will toss the mollies up over. Come on, Richie. One good molly should do it, but no, ain't good enough.
Oh, no.
Okay.
This kid just roasted him. Okay. Curry getting it done here. And will survive a little bit longer for Outlaws as Team Liquid arriving just a hair too late to take advantage. Will get a few shots in, but looks like Curry should be able to escape and might actually be able to get the res on 9-1 here unless Team Liquid decides that they want it. And yeah, it looks like Alo's still sending it on over.
Yeah, why not? Liquid are pretty much confirmed through as well. 90 points for them at this point. Maybe it's all about just getting further up that leaderboard as Sparking. He gets the drive-by, then transitions to the driver's seat, picks up that kill. Fana from Wuju 2. We said that 9 points might be too much for them to close, and it's looking like that might just be the case, as Kurt will take the head off of Fana, and there's only one member of Wuju 2 left. And, well, the one thing we can't say about that, it means there's only one more team that can really force their way in, and that's Sam Crismo.
Yep, and they are currently on the south side, although Sam Crow trying to send it solo to see if the sniper tower is free. Unfortunately for him, it is not free. There is a duo from Dots currently in there, but Sam Crow will manage to escape, get back to his team on that south side, but they're still trying to find a place to play in this next zone, it seems. And it looks like Razav have eyes on them, Dots have eyes on them, 55 also kind of in an inconvenient location. They've got to go somewhere. They can afford to hang out on this hillside here on the south side, but they need points, man.
Oh, they do. Ooh, they definitely do. And Jewel might just re-engage that fight that we saw happen earlier on today. DNL turns his attention to 55 Esports, but Jewel are the problem. K-Mind, M4 at the ready. That gun was a lot better the last time you played Comp K-Mind than it is right now. As he peeks over that ridgeline, Sam Crow down but not out just yet. And they need to get smoke cover down, but Lynxy will confirm that one out. But DNL on the swing will take down K-Mind, and it's all down to Lynxy.
And Lynxy been up to the task before. Got a nice little wrap here. There's a grenade in hand, but it looks like Sam Crismo has a good idea of exactly where he is. So they are not going to allow him to take them by surprise. As you see, sneak attack will get taken down, so that's Wuju 2 out. And Alo is going to be the one that gets it. Lynxy just dancing around in the blue zone as he waits for the inevitable here. Now, the only big problem here for Sam Crismo, they get another kill, but they do lose one in the process. And now 55 Esports, Baki, and he's got a shotgun rider with him as well. I'm not sure who that is. Can't see it.
Fake, I think fake.
Yeah, there we go. It's fake. So, yep, they come at the worst possible time. They're going to get Lopes. And now Sam Crismo's hopes are starting to fall as Lynxy will finally get taken down.
Yeah, 7 kills or 65 points now, 10 behind God Squad. But if God Squad remain in the lobby, they'll start getting into those placement points too, which just makes the task even more difficult. Now 55, they suffered a knock at the hands of San Crismo earlier, but now they're looking to deal the death bell or the death knock onto them. They're going to rotate through the blue, but it's a tough ask as we move to the next circle shift. And Poro, Falcons, is it really that big of a stretch now to say maybe Falcons might win this map?
I wouldn't say it's that big of a stretch. They once once again all by themselves as DNL does get taken out. And now we are down to just Nick from Sam Crismo. And so God Squad has to be seeing that in their kill feed and loving it. They have just been vibing so far this game, but only just now where they might start to actually see some action as Team Liquid and Outlaws are starting to creep in from that western edge. But it won't matter at all if Nick gets taken out here by 55 Esports.
H11 moving over this way now, and if I said that name wrong, I'm so sorry. But here we go, blue zone in the hands. Nick inside the compound. I don't think he realizes they're that close by, but we turn our attention over to watch Outlaws do damage to Liquid. Back over to this one. I feel like Nick's numbers are limited now. They're looking to just deal with them here and now.
Yeah, 55 is not going to waste any time with it. There you go. Baki will be the one to do it, and Sam Crismo is out in 12th place, and their hopes for a run at that top 8 will come to an end. And we have pretty much got our top 8 set now. So we will know who is going to be going on to the grand finals, and we will know what our last chance qualifier lobby is going to look like. But we've still got PUBG left to play, Gibson. We got to wrap this thing up. Can Falcons get another win here today? Can El Proyecto get a third win here today? Who knows? It could be 3-3.
Yeah, it could be. Liquid might look to get their first one of the groups as well. You know, there's always that to look forward to. But you know what? I'm going to put a team over. Toyo, you've 55 points. You've 20 points off of God Squad. Paro, there's still enough players. They can still technically do it. But you know what?
You don't want to call it yet.
Yeah.
Well, Sharpshot gets taken down there, so that might open up a little bit of a door here for Toyo. If I'm sorry, I can't fake it that hard. I really can't.
Do it.
Okay, all right, we're gonna do it. All right, so here we go. 55 is gonna take the fight with Razav, but nobody cares about that. Everybody cares about Toyo, and can they pull off the miracle? But 55 after taking out Sam Crismo, they're gonna turn their attention towards Razav, and Lausha in a little bit of trouble here. They might be able to get their fallen man back on his feet. Beleda using the vehicles as cover, but Team Liquid on foot. They're coming over at the perfect time as well. This could be a big sandwich happening. Is Pretty Curdy? Oh yeah, you had no idea, Laucha.
Yeah, Kurt will pick up another kill. That's 6 for Liquid now. A couple of bullets into the dead body. But there is Trisk with the spray. Runs out of ammo and is going to get knocked on the other side as Emmy from Toyo. They've come to life now as they try to make the miracle run happen. Well, if they want to make it happen, one of the teams they need to shut down is sneaking this way. Shinboy and Pat Caps moving towards the side. Great nade though. That comes in from Toyo and they start lighting up that kill feed just a little bit. It's 16 points now, Paro. It's getting a bit closer.
Yeah, a little bit. All right, so they got 16 points left again. 6 more kills and a win. Toyo, you got this, I believe. Well, they've got Team Liquid that is kind of pinched right now between a duo of God Squad. Pat Caps and Shinboy sent down here, but Balefrost still off to the noise. And actually, it looks like Shinboy might be leaving as well. Alo has that P90 in hand, and somebody somewhere is raining mortars down on this as well. As we see Team Liquid try to slowly make their way on this south side of this zone, pulling up over the ridge line. They spotted out Emmy. They don't have the angle right now. Emmy staying alive through the grace of smokes.
I'm trying to work out who was actually shooting. Yeah, I was trying to work out who was shooting Emmy. Benya does get that knock. Looking at the distance though, it's not going to be flushed away, and oh my god, that's just sparking. And Kurt, Toyo, the miracle run might be about to end here and now. Before it really started, yeah, 3 players down. Oh, boo. Actually, no, I can't even boo Liquid. They're my favorite org in all of esports, so I can't even boo them ironically.
Okay, so that's hard, but trying to convince me that Toyo is going to make a miracle run here at the end was easy. Oh, Benya's still alive. Maybe he can do it solo. El Proyecto trying to stay alive here through the mortars, through the fire and the flames as Firefly dodging, burning vehicles, flipping around. Tilt Town, Doobie from the hard cover will get taken out by a well-placed grenade from Haven, and now it's Posa and Haven. They have to turn their attention over towards Firefly, but they do have they're inside the zone, so they got a little bit of time to work with here. Posa almost gets Kane as Firefly back up to full strength.
Haven
good
picks up
spray.
over the ridge line, but yeah, once again, Kane is able to get that knock on the poster this time. Sprint on over, get your kill confirmed. Fireflies, they're up to 34 points now as they 35
Make a
it as
miracle
they
run.
No. Mathematically, I don't think it's possible for them.
Who needs math?
Dots, by the way.
Okay.
Nah, they can't either, Paro. I'm sorry.
Instantly gets headshot and taken down. Well, Bliss goes down through a combination of Alo and Sparking, but good grenades from Shinboy will find Sparking and almost get Alo as well. Purdy Curdy alive, but by the grace of the smoke cloud as Tiggleton. Well, this has just been Falcons, hasn't it? They've had the compound. They haven't had to do anything. They're just sitting here, just shooting at anything that might reveal itself as they set themselves up for what could be their 4th win of the day. They still have a little bit of work left to do, but it doesn't seem like it's very hard work. Let's go with that.
Well, they secured this compound really early on in the game, and when you look at the terrain around them, they can play on these rooftops, and there's not really much else the rest of the lobby can do. Their back is clear. The only team to the north that they have to worry about is Firefly, but they can just rain hellfire down on the rest of the lobby. Like, look at how many opportunities and how many players that they can take shots at any time they want.
Just everything. And nobody can really return fire on them consistently because they're working around these roofs, right? They just pop up and pop back down again and peek from a different angle. So Tiggleton hits the headshot onto Balefrost there as God Squad's still alive. So credit to them. They did what they had to do. They had to survive. They could not afford to go out early. They could not afford a 0-point game. So far, 0 kills, but they are in the top 6. They're collecting placement points, and they are securing their top 8 position. Firefly, meanwhile, still have 4 alive, but it looks like they're just trying to survive at this point.
Yeah, and like they're going to be playing next weekend regardless of what happens. So it's just about last couple of reps in an official competition before they go back into scrims during the week to prepare for the weekend. Yeah, finish strong. Give yourself something to work with going in the next weekend.
Well, Haven still alive for El Proyecto out in the blue, but that blue zone is taking pretty hard right now, and Falcons also know he's there as Sparking will get the knock onto Joshi. So Dots and Team Liquid fighting on this south side as we go to the 4 screen. All Team Falcons members shooting at somebody different.
It's a firing squad. It's an actual firing squad.
Like, I mean, goodness.
You know, you peek up over a ridge line and there's just 4 Falcons raining unholy hellfire on the rest of the lobby. They turn their attention to the Fireflies. Yappa tries to move on up, but he goes right into the waiting arms of Patcaps. He'll secure that knock, and Balefrost will get the flush. They get their first kill of the game. 2 players up for them, but it's a 3v4, v3, v2 for the win. And I don't really see how anyone... Oh my, Shrimps, they just behave yourself.
How
This is just... This is rude. This is rude at this point.
Good Lord, I've been keyed in on this map stream for the last several minutes, and I'm still waiting for the first person to take a shot at any of the Falcons. Like, they have just been free farming, and nobody is taking shots back in their direction. I think the last time a Falcon got shot was the knock that Kickstart took on Tego.
Yeah, this is rough. It's like they've even extended out. They got bored of just shooting everybody else. The nades are there. That gets rid of the shield. Bye-bye, Fireflies. It was a pleasure knowing you. It's actually Alo and Sparking that get the kills 17. Confirmed at the end. Right. You know what? Liquid can actually get the 2nd place.
They could. They could make the jump here, but
or not.
We say that H-Win will land the heady onto Sparking, but Halo and Purdy Curdy still alive. They've got some hay bales that they can hide behind, but Kickstart making it his solo mission to come out here and deal with them. He's going to find one with the MG. He's got Purdy Curdy pinned up against the hay bale as well. He's got to hide behind a little bit of cover here just to avoid the God Squad, but Kickstart, he doesn't care. He's going to go ahead and push, and yeah, give him another one. That's 4 for Kickstart. Can he get some more? They've got the God Squad pinned up against the wall, but Shrimsy will get taken down as Balefrost not going out without a fight.
Yeah, I think Kickstart was like, "How dare you take 17 of our kills in that game?" And he was like, I'm gonna get some kills by myself now." It's
Okay.
a 4v1. Balefrost is the last player alive because H-Win. Why
Oh
not?
my-
You
through the
Why
smoke.
not H-Win? You can't spell H-Win without the word win anyway. So 22 points for Falcons. 4 on the night. They are inevitable. They're indomitable.
Goodness.
All right, 4 out of 6 games.
Hazy through the smoke to end things
Complete
off.
domination.
That just goes to show you the kind of day the Falcons were having here today. And this group stage in general has just been a feeding grounds for these guys, as they have had just a phenomenal performance. But now they have they can take a little bit of break, go back to scrims, get ready for that grand final. And basically dictate whatever they want. I mean, they're GPT, they're already guaranteed to go to PGS, but they can still remind this region of who the top dog is.
Yeah, there's a reason for it. And look, if you're looking for something to do during the week, and it's something I do every once in a while because it's just pure entertainment, is put on one of the Falcons players' streams up whenever they're in scrims, and then put up Gunners the Gunners stream at the exact same time. Because he can't talk to them, and you just hear going, "What are those idiots doing now? What are they talking about?" It's actually so funny to do that. But you know what? I think what we should do, Poro, is we should get the highlights up of that last map, and we get Matt ready to come back in while we get an interview ready. After these highlights, we'll be right back.
I also want to point out while we're looking at these stats, guys, remember the fact that this is 12 games played for all of these totals as we're looking through. D also showing up in the top 5 repeatedly, but I mean, it's a lot of Falcons players that we're looking at over here, Boro.
I mean, look, it is what it is, man. The Falcons are the class of the region, and
Shows the average 500 points per game.
yeah, I mean, look,
500 damage, jeez.
This is exactly what I expected from Falcons. Like, they should be absolutely destroying this lobby. Now, and next, you know, when we get to the grand final, I expect them to do the same thing. Like, they are by far the class of this region. The reason that you see so many teams changing up rosters and doing all these switches is so they can try to find some of the magic that they to try to catch up to where the Falcons are at. So this is, I mean, that is what it is until somebody proves it otherwise. So I'm not at all surprised to see them do what they did.
We've got a lot of squads that are going to be looking for survival. 8 of these squads that we're looking at right now, Gibson, will be moving on to the grand finals, but they've got to play next weekend, and it is going to be brutal. It's going to be a lot of squads that are very, very scrappy.
It's going to be a strange lobby to watch because you're missing the likes of Falcons, Liquid, Alcudia. So you'll see teams take drop spots that they wouldn't normally have, and it'll give them a lot of benefits going over to the LCQs, but it won't help them at all during grand finals. But I think that it's really important for like Empire Gaming and Toyo, when you consider the teams that they have, that they come on strong as well next weekend, because teams will expect them to be in the grand finals.
And I'm going to start off with a really simple question for you, H1, as we're getting everything prepped up, and we'll make the switch over to bring him in just 1 second. I've got to get some stats loaded over because I want to get this one set up and ask properly here. Get the numbers updated. So, it hasn't updated yet on Liquipedia. So
Yeah,
I was going to ask you about points, but it doesn't matter. Instead, I will just ask it simple. Only 4 games? Only 4? Can't get them all in not one day?
Should have been 5.
Should have been 5. Should have been 5. So before we start diving into all the games, you have been on Sonics for what? Almost 5 years, really. I mean, right at the end of the MPL is whenever you guys all kind of merged in together. What's it like after all of this time to be playing under a new roster? Or not a new roster, but a new team?
Still getting used to it, but it's the same formula. We're just trying to be the best version of ourselves, to be honest.
Right. Easy. I mean, that's exactly what I would be expecting from you guys. So diving in a bit more, Whenever we're looking at how you guys were playing, specifically in like the last game and whenever you guys were making some of the shifts, whenever we went back over to, I believe it was Rondo, there was a lot of very interactive moments in how you guys were doing a lot of scouting and shifting in. The way you guys navigate information and the way you guys plan your moves always just seems to be so dominant in how you play around power locations. Is this just the way you guys approach the map, or is it a lot more responsive?
I think we're one of the most book smart teams, and we obviously have our drops uncontested, which is a huge advantage. And it honestly just makes it easy when the team trusts my calls and rotations, and then late game, it really just falls on everyone's shoulders.
Well, I will now let the next question fall upon Porosaurus's shoulders.
Hey, buddy. It feels really weird seeing you in that jersey, but I'm sure I'll get used to it as the year progresses.
Yeah.
But I guess my only question really is, you guys had obviously some fantastic highs last year. Probably didn't end the way that you guys wanted to at PGC. What are you changing after being together for so long? Are there any big changes that you make going from last year into this year, or is it pretty much kind of the same as normal with small tweaks?
After PGC, none of us were really happy with our performance, obviously. We've had our highs and our low lows. We took a long break, and then when we got back, we really said, hey, if we're going to be grinding, let's give it 100%. We're changing some things up with kind of like roles and how we're approaching early to mid game, being a bit more aggressive. But for the most part, these regional games, we seem to be just getting really good positions and doing the work from there.
Gibson?
So I have two questions for you, and I'll put them together. So first off, looking at the stats, damage and kills, what's it like having to carry Tig? And then secondly, I guess is more so about today. So yesterday, Shrimsy was in chat, and Cammy had said 63 points was a good day, and Shrimsy was like, oh, no, that's nowhere near good enough from us. What was the difference between yesterday and today, other than the lobby, and how you were able to get so many more points?
Yeah, yesterday we definitely could have got more points, so it's hard to not agree with Shrimsy there, but I'd say today it was just momentum. One good game leads into another. You're going to take those extra risk and play confidently when you're doing well. And yeah, I think this group stage was really about us showing everyone that, while there is a lot of promising new rosters, we're still the top dogs. And hopefully we can show that in finals.
So we're at the start of the year. Just a quick question for you before we close everything out is what are your personal goals? Like I know a lot of times with like the IGL position, it's you're very focused on what is the roster going to do? What is our team going to do? But what are you looking for yourself in this year?
To be honest, I would like to MVP a tournament and win it. If I could do that, I think that would check mark everything off the list. Win a PGC is also up there, but yeah, I guess just win as much as possible before this game's TPP, if I'm being honest.
Just set goals, make sure you get as much as you can. Well, now feel free to give a shout out to whoever you'd like, any fans, talk about anything that you want to for just a second.
Yeah, shout out to all our fans. Hopefully you're getting used to calling us Falcons now. Shout out to my family watching, and shout out to Ashley. We recently got engaged, and it's awesome having a partner like her.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, best of luck so much, man. I mean, I don't even feel like I need to tell you good luck because the way you guys are playing grand finals, it's going to be spicy and looking forward to it. But thanks so much for spending some time talking with us. All right.
Yeah,
guys,
thank you.
So
Thanks, man.
now time to get everything set. Looking eyes towards the last chance qualifiers and how we're going to be trying to get everything set up, maneuvering in for that one. I'm actually going to be tagging out. I get a day off finally, so 3 days in a row coming up from me. Poro, as you're kind of taking a look at some of the squads, what do you kind of have your hopes for whenever we go into the last chance qualifiers?
Honestly, I want to see some of these teams that we had high expectations for.
Yes, that is it. Is the end. Appreciate you all being here. See y'all tomorrow. Day stream starting about 9, maybe 8. We're gonna see y'all tomorrow, and y'all peace out.